Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to homicide detail. A night watchman has been stabbed to death in a downtown appliance store. There's no apparent motive for the killing. No lead to the suspect. Your job, find him.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, August 8th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Frank. We were on the way out from the office, and it was 8:26 a.m. when we got to the corner of 7th and Ducommon Streets. Bentley Appliance Company.
Sure, a big place.
Yeah.
There's somebody coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what do you want?
Police officers.
Oh, yeah, just a minute. Come on in.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
I guess it'd be a good idea if I locked the door again, huh?
If you'd like to, yes, sir.
Good idea. There, now, it's all secure. My name's Ralph Bentley. I'm the one who put in the call.
This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
I do.
I do, sir.
Where's the body?
Oh, back here in the stockroom.
Who found him, Mr. Bentley?
Our building superintendent, Curtis Holman.
Is he here now?
Yeah, he's upstairs.
All right.
I suppose you'll want to talk to him.
Yes, we will.
Oh, I'll get it.
Go ahead.
Oh, thanks. Oh, over here. It's behind these packing cases.
Uh-huh.
Well, you can see there he was stabbed.
Yeah.
Oh, sure a mess, isn't it?
Yeah. What's his name? Mr. Bentley?
Hmm?
The victim's name?
Oh, Clyde Maddock.
M-A-T-I-C-K?
I-K, no C.
What time was the body discovered?
It must have been about 7:30. That's when Holman comes to work.
Did he find her right away?
I don't know. I haven't been able to get him to say much. When I came in, he was just standing here looking at the body. He was kind of numb, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What time did you get here?
Must have been about 7:45. That's when I called you, wasn't it?
Yes, sir, about that time.
Yeah, that's when it was, 7:45.
How long has this Maddock worked for you?
Oh, 3 years. Almost 4.
Has anything in here been disturbed?
Not that I know of. I don't think Holman touched anything. I couldn't talk to him very much, but I'm pretty sure he knows enough to leave things alone. Well, I sure can't understand it.
What's that?
Well, take a look around. It doesn't look like there's a fight. Does it look like it to you?
No.
Well, that's it.
What do you mean?
Well, it stands to reason it was somebody he knew. Some stranger, there'd be signs. He wouldn't just let somebody come up and stab him in the back now, would he?
Doesn't seem likely, does it?
Well, in the 3 years he's been with us, I've never heard anyone say an unkind thing about Maddock. Not one. Man didn't have an enemy in the world.
Well, that doesn't mean much.
Hmm?
One of his friends didn't like him then. "8:30 a.m. We put in a call to the crime lab and asked them to come out and go over the scene. The manager led us upstairs to the main offices, and we met the building superintendent, Curtis Holman. He was a small man in his early 50s.
I don't care how it looks, Mr. Friday. I didn't do it. You got to believe that. I didn't have anything to do with it.
Now, nobody says you did, Holman. The officers just want to ask you some questions.
Well, I don't want them to think I killed him. I don't want them to think that.
What time did you find the body?
I guess it must have been around 7:30, someplace around in there.
Mm-hmm.
You see, I just come in, locked the door after me, and then I was going to come up here and change my clothes.
Yeah?
I got my own closet down there in the hall. My own closet.
Yes, sir.
I was coming back, going upstairs, and I saw him just laying there. Right away, I knew he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have to have nobody tell me that. I knew he was dead.
What'd you do?
Nothing. Couldn't.
What's that?
Couldn't do nothing. First time I ever saw a dead man. I don't know. Just stood there and looked. First time.
Yeah, that's where he was when I came in.
Yeah, I was just there. You see, I didn't kill him. Wasn't me. Somebody did it, but it wasn't me.
All right, Holman, all right.
Now, we was friends, Clyde and me. Friends.
I I guess I should have told you he doesn't mean any harm.
We understand.
Played cribbage once in a while in the morning. Me and Clyde played cribbage.
Was there anybody else in the store when you got here, Holman?
Huh? You talking to me?
Yes, sir. Did you see anybody else in the place when you got here?
No, just me and Clyde. Only he was dead.
How'd you get in?
Got a key. See, right here. My own key.
How many keys are there, Mr. Bentley?
Oh, it's 3 out. I got one. Holman has one. Maddock had the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Have you contacted his family?
Hasn't got one. As far as we know, he hasn't got any people.
You can give us his address, though, can't you?
Well, sure. No trouble at all. He lives upstairs.
What?
Part of the deal we worked out when he started. A little room on the 3rd floor. He gets that and the salary.
Real nice way he fixed it up. All painted bookshelves, a lot of books. All over the place, books.
Wonder if we could see it.
Certainly.
You like it. Real nice room. Nicer than mine. Wish I had it.
We can go down this way.
Want me to go up with you?
Yes, sir, if you'd like to.
Sure. I like Clyde's room.
Be faster if we take the stairs.
All right.
Here we are. Go ahead.
Thank you.
I guess Clyde had about every book printed. Great one for reading.
That so?
Oh, yeah. All time had his face in the book. All time reading.
Uh-huh.
Smart. Knew all kinds of things. Just asked Clyde a question and he knew the answer. I was all the time telling him he should go on the quiz shows. He'd have won them all. Knew the names of all the presidents, when they was elected, all about them.
Is that right?
It's right down this way.
All right.
I used to sit there and look through the books. Didn't make much sense to me, but Clyde sure liked them.
All right, Holman. I'm sure the officers know what you mean.
I'm just trying to tell them, that's all. Tell them about Clyde.
Sure. Oh, this is it. Oh, it's locked.
You have a key?
No, I don't.
I got one. Got it on the ring. You want me to open the door?
If you would, yeah.
Sure thing. Glad to help you. Yeah, find the right one now.
Here, you drop this.
Why do you have a key to the room?
Clyde gave it to me. Said it was all right for me to have it in case I wanted to clean up. He let me do that. Clean up.
All right. Well, do you have the key?
Yeah. Here it is. There you are.
Hey. Sure looks like there was a party in here.
Yeah.
Certainly didn't have any idea things like this went on. Oh, just look at this room. Beer bottles all over the place, glasses, empty bottles. Oh, this place is filthy.
I was going to clean it up, Mr. Bentley. Honest, I was. Right after I finished with the rest of the building, I was going to clean it up.
14 beer bottles, all of them empty. Boy, I don't see how a man could drink that much beer.
Looks like he had some help.
Huh?
What do you got?
Take a look at these glasses.
Yeah.
Lipstick.
Don't
smear.
touch them.
I'm sorry. Boy, that really does it. That's the capper.
Sir?
Well, when he took the job, I made it perfectly clear. No mistake about it. None at all.
What do you mean?
Beer drinking, I don't mind. He's got that right. But I told him there wasn't supposed to be any women up here.
No.
He knew it. Doesn't look good. Place of business just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
I told him if he broke the rule once, just once, he'd be sorry about it. That's what I told him.
He's got no quarrel about it now.
Huh?
He's sorry. The crime lab arrived and started to go over the room. After photographs had been taken, the body was removed to the county morgue. Apparently, the victim had died of internal hemorrhage caused by 3 deep stab wounds in the back. He'd been dead about 36 hours. From questioning the other employees of the store, we were able to find out a little about the victim's background. All of them knew him as a quiet man who kept pretty much to himself. We asked about the women friends. They couldn't help us there either. The questioning continued.
As far as I know, there wasn't anybody.
You ever mention any friends to you?
No, we didn't talk much. I didn't see him a lot. You know, he'd be in the halls or something like that, but we didn't talk much.
Is there anything more you can tell us that might help?
I don't think so. If I think of anything, I'll let you know.
All right. Thank you very much.
Is that all?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, sure getting us nowhere.
Yeah. Let's have the next one, huh?
All right. You come in now, Miss Lask?
Yes,
It's Cora Lask, is that right?
that's right.
My name's Smith. This is Sergeant Friday.
I do.
How are you? Like to sit down?
Thank you. Guess it's about Mr. Maddock, huh?
That's right.
Awful thing to have happen. I work in the office, almost right under his room. Kind of gives me the creeps to think about it. So creepy.
Did you know him very well?
Yeah, I guess you could say I did. I went to lunch with him a couple of times, even had a couple of dates. Not flower-type dates, though.
How's that?
He didn't bring flowers.
Oh, I see.
We met after work and went to dinner. Nothing serious.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know any of his other friends?
Oh, just about everybody in the place. Wasn't anybody that wasn't friends with Mr. Maddox. Everybody liked him.
Is there anybody special?
You mean like a girlfriend?
That's right.
I don't know. Maybe it was Bessie.
Who's that, miss?
Bessie Rowan. Her and Mr. Maddox were pretty friendly. You ask me, I'd say might even have been serious.
She work here?
Yeah, stockroom clerk, head of the department.
I see.
Pretty important job. Got charge of all the ordering.
Yeah.
You ever been in Mr. Maddox's room?
I know you're just trying to do what you think is right, Mr. Friday. But I don't like what you're getting at.
No offense, Miss Lask. Just a routine question.
Oh, the answer's no. I told you. I just went out with him a couple of times, that's all.
I see.
You remember that.
Yes, ma'am.
Is Miss Rowan here this morning?
No, she isn't. It's a funny thing, too.
What do you mean?
It's not like her to miss a day's work. Long as I've been here, she never done it before. Always here, always on time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's so funny. She called this morning and said she wouldn't be able to make it.
She say why?
Not really. Kind of talked around it, you know. Matter of fact, I didn't think she had a real reason for not coming in.
How was that?
The way she acted. Say, you don't think it had anything to do with Mr. Maddox, do you?
I wouldn't know.
I bet that's it. She knows something. That's why she's not coming in. That's the reason.
It's possible.
More than that, she knows something. I'll bet you on it. Bet you anything.
No, it wouldn't be too fair.
Huh?
We'd like to see you win. We checked all of the employees of the store through R&I. Except for 2 drunk arrests for the janitor, Curtis Hallman, there was no record on any of them. We tried to contact Bessie Rowan at her home, but she wasn't there. The neighbors were unable to tell us anything that might aid us in finding her. We asked them to notify us in the event she returned. At 12:46 p.m., an unidentified woman called the Bentley Appliance Company and asked for the victim. She was told that he was out and was asked to leave a phone number where she could be contacted. Frank and I checked with the phone company and found that the number was assigned to a public phone booth in a downtown department store. We drove over to the place and talked with one of the clerks.
Yes, it seems to me there was a woman by the phone booth.
Can you give us a description of her?
Not a very good one, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anything you can tell us might help.
See, there is one thing, though.
What's that?
Might not mean anything.
Well, what is it, ma'am?
Her hair.
Yeah?
Real red. About the brightest red I've ever seen. Had to come from a bottle. Never saw any natural hair that color.
All right.
Does that help you any?
Well, we don't know yet.
I didn't think it would. Just something you remember. Something kind of outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought of it. Figured it might be a way for you to remember if it's the one you're looking for.
Well, if it is, we've got another way. "4:35 p.m. Frank and I went back to the city hall and checked into the office. There was a note in the book for us to get in touch with Sergeant J. Allen at the crime lab. He'd just finished his preliminary examination of physical evidence and wanted to go over his findings with us.
Back here, Joe. Frank?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, how'd you do?
Not bad. Here, take a look.
Yeah?
These are the beer bottles we found in the room, 14 of them. They're clean. Able to lift 3 good prints from one of the glasses.
Enough for identification?
You come up with a finger.
Not enough for classification, though.
No.
Anything else?
I went over the room with a vacuum cleaner. Found this in the couch.
Earring.
Yeah. Imitation stone, mounting's gold filled. Nothing else on it.
Mm-hmm.
Any way of checking where it was bought, Jay?
It'll be pretty hard. Costume jewelry, a lot of places make it. Even more than that cellar.
Yeah.
Found this handkerchief on the floor under the couch.
No monogram. Any laundry marks?
No. Went over it with ultraviolet. There's nothing there.
Is that it?
Well, lipstick marks on the glasses. We lifted them. Might be able to use them in identification.
Yeah.
You come up with a motive yet?
No. No, as near as we can tell, there wasn't anything stolen from the store. The victim had $36 in cash on him. Expensive watch, ring. None of it was touched. You got any more for us, Jay?
Well, couldn't find the murder weapon. Wasn't in the room. We checked the rest of the place. Couldn't turn it.
Any idea what it might have been, Jay?
A sharp instrument, probably a pocket knife, 3-inch blade. Oh, one more thing. Not sure about it.
Yeah.
Here, I'll get it. Take a look.
What do you got there?
Hair. Found them on the victim's jacket. No way of telling how long they'd been there.
Human?
Yeah. Whoever they belong to shouldn't be too hard to spot.
What do you mean?
Bright red.
We left the crime lab and drove over to the Bentley Appliance Company. We went up to the second floor and talked with the secretary again, Cora Lask.
Sure, I can give you a description of Bessie. No trouble at all.
Have you heard from her today?
Not since this morning. I told you about that. You know, how she wouldn't be in.
Yeah.
That's the only time.
Now about the description. What color hair does she have?
It's a blonde color.
Dark or light?
Kind of in between. I guess that's the reason she fixes it up.
How do you mean?
Touch-up. Usually a sort of strawberry blonde, I guess you call it.
Uh-huh.
Last time she did it, I guess it was a week ago, she had an accident.
Well?
With the dye. She did something wrong. Sure looked funny.
How do you mean?
But it turned out wrong. Embarrassed her all over the place. Everybody was making cracks about it. She said she was going to redo it first chance she had.
Yeah.
I kind of laughed myself. It was pretty hard to imagine.
What's that?
That color red hair.
We returned to the office and filled out the reports. At 6:18 p.m., we got a call from one of the suspect's neighbors telling us that she'd returned home. We drove out to talk to her.
Yeah?
Bessie Rowan?
That's right. Who are you?
Police officer. I'd like to talk to you.
Well, I haven't got anything to say to you. It's not going to do me much good, though, is it, huh? Is it? You're going to take me down to Pokey anyway, aren't you? Aren't you going to?
Might be better if we talk to you inside.
Oh, well, then. Come on in. Ain't no difference where we talk. Not a bit. You ain't going to believe me anyway.
About what?
That I didn't kill Clyde. You ain't going to believe me, are you?
Why don't you tell us?
All right, I will. What do you think of that, huh? What do you think of that?
You alone here?
No, I got 3 or 4 friends hiding in the closet. They usually don't come out this early, though. Wait until it gets dark. That's when they like it, when it's dark.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you want me to tell you now, huh? Do you?
About what?
About Clyde. How he's dead. You want me to?
Why don't you try?
No matter what I say, you're going to believe what you want to, so it'd probably be easier if I went along with you, wouldn't it, huh?
Might be.
Okay, then. I killed him.
6:23 p.m. We continued to talk to Bessie Rowan. Frank went out to the kitchen and made a pot of coffee. After we'd gotten several cups down, Miss Rowan, she sobered up and was able to answer our questions.
I didn't mean it. I wasn't feeling very good. I guess that's why I said it.
Did you see him Saturday night?
Yeah.
Where?
After work. Met him. We went to the place on the corner, had a couple of drinks, and then I came home.
Ever been in his room?
What you mean, at the company?
Yeah.
Guess it wouldn't do any good to lie about it. Yeah, I've been there.
When?
I don't know. I guess the last time was a week ago. Somewhere in there, I had a couple of drinks.
How'd you and Maddox get along?
All right. We didn't set the world on fire.
How'd you know he was dead?
Heard it.
Where?
I'd rather not say, like somebody in trouble.
You got a good-sized piece of that right now. Why don't you tell us?
A friend of mine. I called this morning.
That's how you found out?
Yeah. I guess his friend wasn't supposed to say anything. As soon as she did, she told me not to say anything.
What time did you see Maddox last?
I guess it was about 7:30. Right after we came out of the bar, he walked me back to the parking lot, and I came home.
Anybody vouch for that?
No.
You can prove it then, though.
Maybe they changed the laws, huh?
What do you mean by that?
I always thought you had to prove I was guilty. They done away with that?
No.
Then start proving.
All right, get a coat and we'll go downtown.
You gonna book me?
We'll see.
Gotta make a charge, don't you?
If you want it that way.
Never mind. I'll get a jacket.
Where is it?
Bedroom closet.
You want to show me?
You don't trust anybody, do you?
Let's get the coat, lady.
That's the one.
Okay. Here you are.
The gentleman would hold it.
Yeah.
All set?
Yeah, I guess so. You turn off the coffee?
Yeah, I think so.
You better be sure. I'm not going to come home and have to clean a burned coffee pot.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Huh?
You might not be coming home. The woman was taken downtown to the city hall. Her fingerprints were taken, and we checked her name and description through R&I once more, but we failed to come up with a record for her. 8:15 p.m. While I talked to her in the squad room, Frank went down the hall.
You're going to let me go home.
As soon as you tell us the truth.
I've told you everything I know. It's all you're going to get.
So,
Yeah.
here it is.
What's that? The solution to the case?
It might be. It's a report from Leighton Prince.
Yeah?
Your fingerprints match with the ones we found on some glasses in his room.
What does that mean?
You were in his room.
I've already admitted
You
that.
told us you weren't there Saturday.
So he's a sloppy housekeeper.
Now, we talked to the janitor. He cleaned the room Saturday morning. The glasses weren't there then.
How about it, Miss Rowan?
Make it easier if you give us a statement. Come on.
All right, I was there, but I didn't kill him, and that's the truth.
Go ahead.
After we left the bar, he asked me to come up and have a nightcap. I did.
Yeah?
We had some stuff to talk over.
What?
We wanted to get married. We talked about it before. There was something to hanging him up. I don't know what it was. I told him we couldn't go on like that anymore. It had to be either one way or the other. Either we'd get married or else we'd call the whole thing off.
Yeah.
He asked for a couple of days. Said he'd clean up whatever the trouble was by then.
Yeah.
I told him to go ahead. That's all. Had a couple of drinks, and then I left, and I came straight home.
What time did you get there?
About 10, maybe 10:30.
Why'd you lie to us?
I don't know. I was drunk. You saw that.
Yeah.
I got scared. Figured sure you'd think I did it.
Did Maddox have any other girlfriends?
I don't know. We didn't talk about it.
Did he mention anybody else?
Yeah, I guess. A couple of times he talked about some girl that was giving him trouble. Called him at work, on his back. Told me he was trying to get rid of her.
Possible she might have been the reason you couldn't get married?
Yeah, it might be.
You know anything about her?
No, he didn't talk much about her. A couple of times he hacked because she'd called the store, made a big scene. Said she was usually gassed. She was a real lush, way he put it, drunk most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Funny, though. She didn't go for hard booze.
Huh?
Just drank beer.
On the chance that the empty beer bottles we'd found in the victim's room had been bought in the neighborhood, we began an immediate canvass of the liquor stores in the area. We gave the dealers a description of Clyde Maddox, and we also asked if a woman had purchased 14 bottles of beer. In the first 5 stores, we drew a blank, but the clerk in the 6th told us that he had made such a sale on Saturday night to a woman. He was unable to tell us who she was, but he did say that he'd seen her several times in the neighborhood bars. We started to check them. Several bartenders knew the woman, but were unable to tell us her name or where we could find her. At 12:20, we stopped at a place called the Pink Pigeon.
Yeah, I know her. In here all the time. She's a beer drinker.
You know her name?
Well, let me think. Yeah, Gladys something. I don't think I ever heard the last part. Wouldn't make me unhappy if she didn't come back.
What do you mean?
Oh, she's all the time tanked, loud, dirty mouth. Chick like that doesn't do the place any good.
You know where we can get in touch with her?
What's the matter? She done something?
We'd like to talk to her.
Well, sure. I didn't mean to stick my nose in where it don't belong.
That's all right. You know where we can find her?
I don't know. I guess her place would be as good as any.
Well, where's that?
A couple of blocks up. It's a brown house, second from the corner. You can't miss it. Just like her, a real mess. There's weeds all around. It's a brown house.
All right, thank you.
I'm glad to help out. I've been saying for a long time she was going to end up in real trouble. Been saying that for a long time. I've been telling everybody.
Uh-huh.
They didn't believe me.
Well, they will now. We left the bar and drove over to the house the bartender had described. There was a light on in the front room when we got there. The name on the mailbox read, Mrs. Clyde Maddox.
Yes,
You Miss Maddox?
that's right. Who are you?
Police officer.
Come on in. I've been expecting you. So wait a minute, I'll get a coat.
That's all right, I'll get it.
You kind of surprised me.
How's that?
I kind of figured you'd find me before this. Didn't think it'd take this long.
Did you kill him?
Yeah. He wanted a divorce. I wouldn't give it to him. Wanted to marry some floozy where he worked. He wouldn't give me a chance to work things out. I tried to convince him he was wrong. I told him if he tried to leave me, he'd be sorry. I tried to convince him. He wouldn't believe me.
Well, maybe he does now. Let's go.
The story you just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 16th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Gladys Markham Maddox was tried and convicted of murder in the second degree and received punishment as prescribed by law. Murder in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 5 years to life in the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to Bunko Fugitive Detail. A man tells you he's been taken for a large sum of money. He thinks it was a swindle. Your job? Run it down.
The documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, September 12th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Bunko Fugitive Detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Gideon. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from communications, and it was 2:17 p.m. when I got to room 38. Bunko Fugitive.
Oh, hi, Joe.
All right. I get it. Bunko Fugitive Friday. Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm. Well, when'd you see him last? Well, how much was it? How much? Mm-hmm. All right, sir. We'll be here. Well, right away if I were you. All right, fine. Fellow's coming in to talk to us.
Yeah?
Says he gave a friend of his $40,000.
Oh.
Kind of broke up their friendship.
What do you mean?
The guy skipped out. $2:42 p.m. The man who had telephoned came into the office. He told us that his name was Jeff Craner. He said he had a real estate business on Wilshire Boulevard and that his home residence was on Rossmore, near Olympic. He also said that on the previous Tuesday he had given $40,000 to a man who called himself Philip Bonham.
You know where this fellow Bonham lives, Mr. Craner?
I know where he used to live.
Where's that?
Our apartment out in Westwood, real fancy, beams, ceilings, lots of glass, swimming pool, the whole works.
He's not there anymore, huh?
The manager of the building says he moved last Tuesday, the day I gave Phil the money.
Who's they?
Phil and his brother had the place together.
Mm-hmm. What's the brother's name?
Steve.
Does the manager have any idea where they went?
Well, claims they didn't leave any forwarding address, just shoved off.
How long have you known the Bonhams, Mr. Craner?
6 or 8 weeks.
How'd you happen to meet up?
Through a friend, a mutual friend.
What would you tell us about it? Well,
it's not going to come out, is it? Newspapers, anything like that?
What do you mean?
Well, you see, I'm married.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't been getting along so well for the last year or so, but I'm still married.
Mm-hmm.
The way I met up with the Bonhams, you see, it was through a girl.
Yeah. What was her name?
Barbara Wist.
Who's she?
Oh, just a girl, that's all. Maybe she was in on it, too. I don't know. Anyway, she introduced me to him.
About how long have you known her?
Oh, 3 months, maybe, a few weeks before I met them.
I see.
We got acquainted at an auction. One of those houses out on Beverly Boulevard where they sell off furniture and things from movie stars' houses.
Mm-hmm.
Used to spend a lot of my free evenings at those auctions. Wasn't any point in staying home, not my wife feeling towards me the way she does. I didn't buy much, just a piece every once in a while. It looked like a bargain.
And that's where you met this woman, huh?
Yes.
Where was she living, do you know?
Had a room at a hotel in Hollywood, the Count George.
Mm-hmm. Well, go ahead, Mr. Craner. What happened next?
Well, we got to be pretty good friends, and one night she offered to put me in touch with a couple of guys she knew who said they were interested in buying some real estate and that I might as well handle the deal. Well, that's how I met up with the Bonhams.
Yes, sir.
We went out to their apartment. They're having a little party. A couple more girls were there. On a Friday night, I guess we all got kind of loaded. Next thing I knew, we were all flying down to Vegas for the weekend. Well, we sure had quite a time for ourselves. Stopped at one of the best hotels, Chateau Lafayette. Everybody making a big fuss like the Bonhams were VIPs.
Yeah.
After that, we had some deals together. Most of them worked out. Whenever they didn't, the Bonhams took care of me anyhow.
What kind of deals? Mr. Craner?
I guess maybe they weren't, well, strictly ethical, but there wasn't anything illegal about it.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to cut a couple of corners if you're going to get ahead in this world.
Is that right?
I get a little tired of this, Sergeant.
Sir?
You act like I'm at fault, like I'm the one who's in the wrong. Now, you remember it was me that got swindled in $40,000 worth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the criminal, you know. They are.
Sure.
You want to tell us about the 40,000, Mr. Crane?
If you're all through with these accusations.
Go ahead, Mr. Crane.
All right. It was last Tuesday, so Bonham called me at my office. Said he had to see me right away about a proposition, a really big one.
Mm-hmm.
We met for lunch. Bonham said they'd just had word from one of their contacts in Las Vegas. A couple of Eastern gamblers had tapped the casino of the Chateau Lafayette for $250,000.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Chateau needed some money, and they needed it fast. So the owners were willing to sell a 5% interest in the hotel for $100,000. Now, Phil said it was a cinch that we'd get our investment back inside of 6 months, and from then on, it was just gravy. Everybody knows how much those hotels in Las Vegas make.
So you gave him the money?
Yes, I drew it out of the bank that afternoon. Had to be in cash.
Did you know the denominations of the bill?
They're all hundreds.
Mm-hmm. What happened then?
I went back to the office, and the Bonhams took off for Las Vegas. At least that's what they were supposed to do. They said they'd call me from there. But when I still hadn't heard anything by Friday, I went over to their apartment and talked to the manager. He said they'd moved out Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Why didn't you get in touch with us then?
They didn't seem like crooks, not a bit.
What were they like?
What?
Would you describe them for us?
Well, Philip's the oldest. He's about 45.
Mm-hmm.
Light hair, complexion.
How big is he?
Tall, about 6 foot man. Thin, sort of rangy.
Mm-hmm. What about his brother?
Oh, Steve's maybe 3 or 4 years younger. A little shorter, not much though. A little heavy.
What color is his hair?
Reddish kind.
The girl who introduced you to him, you said her name was Barbara Wist?
Yes, that's right.
How do you spell that?
W-I-S-T.
Want to describe her, too?
Well, it's pretty hard to say how old she is. I'm not very good at judging a woman's age.
Well, approximately, then.
Oh, 28, 29, 30. Could even be 35.
Mm-hmm.
Blonde, real light streak across the front. Very attractive. Good company, nice build. You know what I mean.
Mm-hmm. Have you tried to get in touch with her since you saw the Bonhams last?
Yes, I called the hotel.
Well?
She moved out last Thursday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how are you supposed to know?
What?
Well, who to trust? They were so darn nice to me, the Bonhams and Barbara. There wasn't any way of figuring what they were after. They, like you say, that they were just kind of setting me up.
Mm-hmm. Well, you had a tip-off.
Yes? Well, when?
When you thought you were getting something for nothing. 3:08 p.m. We ran the names Philip and Steve Bonham and Barbara Wist through R&I. They had nothing on them. We went back to the office and showed the victim mug shots of known confidence men. He was unable to identify any of the photographs. 3:32 p.m. We showed him mugs of confidence women.
No, not on that page, son.
Uh-huh.
Sergeant? My wife won't find out about all this, will she?
Not from us.
We haven't been getting along for quite a while, but, well, you know, she just wouldn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Funny, aren't they?
How's that?
Women, even if they won't have anything to do with you themselves, they just don't want another day moving in.
Want to go on to the next page?
Oh, yeah, sure. Say now.
Yeah?
That looks like her.
Well, is it?
No, I guess not. There's something different there. Sure is a resemblance, though.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody on this page. Now, wait a minute. That was her.
Where?
Here, right here, the one I pointed out before.
Oh, I see.
That's Barbara, all right there.
You said there was something different about this woman, didn't you?
Well, there is, but now that I think about it, any gal's apt to do that.
Do what?
Dye her hair.
The victim was positive in his identification of the photograph. Frank and I pulled the woman's package. Her true name was Mabel Salton, WFA, 36 years old, 5 feet 4, weight 117 pounds, blue eyes, brunette hair. Her record showed 2 convictions for grand theft and an arrest for suspicion of theft the previous June. 4:15 p.m. We talked to Johnny DeBetta, the officer who had made the June arrest.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. Van and I pulled her in. We couldn't make it stick, though.
Why not?
Well, the victim gave us an ident, but we didn't have enough to hold her on. All she did was introduce the mark to a couple of con men. They did the taking.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't prove that she was in on it. The sucker hadn't given her the money.
Yeah.
Wouldn't cop out either.
She's a looker, not a talker. I'd rather tackle a guy any time than a dame like that. Once he decides to keep her mouth shut, you can't get it open with a pair of pliers.
What about the guys he was working with?
A couple of brothers. Don't remember the names they used offhand. It's in the file, so.
Got any leads to him?
Description, M.O. We put out a local and APB. We couldn't turn them up, though. They must have skipped town.
I see.
They had a tail for a while, see if she'd lead us to them.
Yeah.
Nowhere. That's where we ended up. They back in L.A.?
They were last week.
Make another pigeon?
Yeah.
I hope you have better luck than we did.
We're going to need it. If they've moved on, they won't be very easy to catch up with.
Oh?
They got a lot of traveling money.
Oh, yeah?
$40,000. Frank and I put out a local and an APB on the two male suspects. We also put out a bulletin on the female suspect, Mabel Salton. But we requested that in her case, no arrest be made. We asked to be contacted in the event that she was located. From Johnny DeBetta, we learned that the Salton woman had also met the previous victim at an auction. Auctioneers and owners of auction houses were told to notify us if they saw the suspect. We talked to the manager of the apartment where the male suspects had lived and to check the clerk at the Count George Hotel. They were unable to help us. We contacted Las Vegas and learned that the Chateau Lafayette was in excellent financial condition. We also contacted CII up at Sacramento to see if they could give us an identification of the male suspects. We received a negative response. No new leads developed. 5 weeks passed. Wednesday, October 19th, 9:46 a.m. Bunko Fugitive, Friday. Yes, sir. That's right. When? I see. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Tencher Auction House out on 3rd Street.
Yeah?
Auctioneer says he sold a couple of lamps to an old customer last night.
Who?
Mabel Salton. Frank and I drove out to the Tencher Auction Gallery on West 3rd. We showed the auctioneer a mugshot of Mabel Salton, and he said he was positive she was the woman he had seen the previous night. We went back to the office and had a conference with the skipper.
You're sure picking her up won't do any good?
Well, I didn't before, Captain.
Yeah.
Of course, this might not work either. We don't even know if her pals are back in town.
How do you plan to make the contact?
Hang out at auctions, do a lot of bidding, let her think I'm loaded.
I don't know. Maybe it'd be better if Smith went undercover this time. He looks more like a mark to me.
Well, wait a minute, Skipper.
Oh, you know what I mean.
Well, I know.
I'm afraid using Smith would give us a problem, Captain.
Yeah.
Take another look at her picture.
Not bad, is she?
No, that's the trouble. Smith's got a wife. Arrangements were made for me to assume the name of Joe Fawcett. I took a room at a hotel in Hollywood and established myself as a businessman recently arrived from Chicago. Auction houses were told that I would be bidding on various items, and if my bid was accepted, the item was to be re-auctioned at some future date, and any loss incurred would be made good. During the next week, I attended 4 auctions. The woman suspect, Mabel Salton, was present at 2 of them. Thursday, October 27th, 9:42 p.m., I attended the 5th auction. It was at the Tencher Galleries. I managed to get a seat next to the suspect.
I have $45. I have $25. Who'll make it 30? Who'll make it 30? Come on, ladies and gentlemen. A mirror like this costs over $100 in any retail store. 25. Who'll give 30?
30.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, this mirror belongs to one of America's most glamorous actresses, Miss Nora Westlake. You've all seen her dozens of times on the screen. Here's your chance to buy one of her personal possessions. And don't forget where this mirror was hung. In Nora's bedroom. All right, now who'll make it 30? I have 25. Who'll give 30?
30 here.
Thank you, sir. There's a gentleman who appreciates the finer things. I have 30. I have 30. Going once, that's 30.
35.
35. Who'll give 40? 35. Who'll give 40? How about it, sir? Don't let the little lady take it away from you.
If you really want it, it doesn't matter that much to me.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Are you all done? 35 once, 35 twice. So, the ladies are 35. And now, ladies and gentlemen, our next item is a very unusual piece. It was designed especially...
Thanks for letting my bid stand.
That's all right. Forget it.
If there's any way I can pay you back, maybe you'd let me buy you a drink after the auction.
No, that isn't necessary. I didn't really want that mirror anyway.
I'd like to. Unless you're busy.
No, not a bit. You got a customer.
Now, you see how hard it is for them to lift it? Shows you the quality of the marble. All right, boys, better set it down now again before you strain yourself.
Haven't you been to some of the other sales?
A couple of them, yeah.
I thought you looked familiar. Come to think of it, I remember the things you bought.
Is that right?
You have very good taste.
Thank you.
Magnificent center of attention. This is the table for you. A laser solid brass, cut especially to fit.
I just love these auctions. Of course, I always end up buying a lot of things I don't need.
Well, that happens to me, too.
And then afterwards, you feel so darn foolish, but there's nothing you can do. By then, it's too late.
Yeah, same here.
Well, that's true. If it isn't properly treated first. But this table will never show a stain, no matter what you
Yes, we have something in common, don't we, Mr.
I'm quoting
Joe Fawcett. Joe Fawcett.
I'm Mona Eastman.
How do you do?
Very nice to meet you, Mr. Fawcett.
No, the pleasure's all mine. 11:16 p.m. We left the auction and drove over to the suspect's apartment. It was on the second floor of a two-story building just off Olympic Boulevard.
Bar's right over there, Joe. You'll take charge while I get out of my coat.
You bet. Scotch or bourbon?
It doesn't matter. Whatever you're having.
Hey.
Is the ice all melted?
No, there's a little left here.
That's good. I'm really awfully glad you could drop by.
So am I. Here's your drink.
Oh, thanks. Well, cheers.
Cheers. Strong enough for you?
It's just the way I like it. Why don't we sit down?
Sure.
Where's your home, Joe?
Well, I really don't have one yet.
Oh?
I got a hotel room over in Hollywood. I've been staying there for the last few days.
What about all these things you've been buying? The auction?
Oh, they're all for my new place. It hasn't come out of escrow yet.
I see.
It's out in Bel Air. If they hurry up and let me move in, for all I know, I may be getting too much stuff. I don't know what you need to furnish your house.
Well, isn't your wife?
Oh, I'm not married, Mona. Not anymore.
I see.
We broke up about a year ago.
Funny.
What's that?
That's when it happened to me. Just a year ago.
Is that so?
Maybe we have a little too much in common.
Yeah.
She hurt you, didn't she, Joe?
Well.
I can see it in your eyes. You have very sad eyes. And soft and thoughtful.
Oh, I don't know.
I think you can tell a lot about a person from their eyes.
You do, huh?
That's the first thing I notice about somebody. What do you notice, Joe?
Well, I guess I never thought too much about it, to tell you the truth.
What'd you notice first with me? Well?
Well, I guess it was your voice.
Oh?
You know, when you were bidding. I think that's what I noticed first.
I don't know whether that's a compliment or not.
Well, you have a very pleasant voice, Mona. Very pleasant.
George didn't think so.
Who?
My husband.
Oh.
He said I whined and nagged and made life miserable for him. Why'd you split up?
Just didn't work out.
You think I'll ever try it again?
Oh, I don't know. It's pretty hard to say.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Well, just lots of people make mistakes.
Yeah, sure.
You need a freshener?
No, I have plenty here. Fix you up?
Yes, please. You don't drink very much, do you?
No, I just don't feel like it tonight.
Oh. Is it the company?
No, of course not.
I'm sorry if I, sort of forced you into taking me home.
Why, don't be silly.
I just felt that you didn't look very happy, and I thought maybe we both needed to be with someone else for a change.
Sure. Yeah.
Thanks. What line are you in, Joe?
What's that?
What's your business?
Well, nothing right now. I guess you might say I'm unemployed.
Huh?
I had a company of my own back in Chicago. Textile manufacturing. I sold it when we split up.
What are you going to do now?
Oh, I'm sort of looking around. I got a little cash enough to get by on.
Oh?
If the right thing turns up, I guess I might go into it.
I suppose it's hard to tell what to put your money into nowadays.
Yeah, well, there's no hurry.
You know, that reminds me.
Hmm?
If you really do want to get into something good,
Yeah?
I know a couple of businessmen. Oh, they're not close friends or anything like that, but they have some excellent contacts.
Is that so?
I'm sure they could put you into something that would give you a nice return on your investment.
Well, it wouldn't do any harm to talk to them, would it?
I'm afraid you can't right now.
Why not?
They're out of town. It's too bad, isn't it?
Yeah, sure is. Salton woman told me she'd let me know as soon as her friends returned to Los Angeles. During the next 10 days, I saw her on several occasions. As far as I could tell, the so-called Bonham brothers were still out of town. Tuesday, November 8th, 8:40 p.m. I was in my hotel room. Hello? Yes, Mona. Well, how about tonight? Sure, I'll pick you up. About 9:30? Fine. Bye. You want to get me Michigan 5211, please? That's right. Extension 2572. That's right. Extension 2572. Smith there? This is Joe. Yeah, I just heard from her. Better get hold of the vet and have him stand by. Tonight. Says they just blew into town. Over the phone, the Salton woman had told me her two business acquaintances had returned to Los Angeles. I was to meet them that night. Frank and Johnny DeBetta made arrangements to tail my car. 9:28 p.m. I picked up the female suspect. She told me her friends had rooms in the St. Clair Hotel over on Figueroa. We drove over there. It was 9:42 when we arrived. We went up to room 417. She introduced me to two men who matched the description of the male suspects we were looking for. They said their names were Tom and Fred Porst.
Sure is nice to meet you, Mr. Fawcett. Mona's been telling us about you. It seems you've made quite a hit with her.
Is that so? She told me about you fellas, too.
Now, you've got to understand one thing.
What's that?
Anything we discuss in the business line, that is, well, it's got to be confidential.
Well, sure.
You see, my brother and I, we don't make a practice of taking outside investments, right, Fred?
Right.
Matter of fact, we don't even need any outside capital at the moment. We've sort of got a surplus.
Oh, I see. Well, maybe some other time then, huh? Nice to have met you.
Well, what's your hurry, Fawcett?
Well, you said that...
I said we don't need any capital.
Yeah.
Well, we might make an exception in your case, though.
Oh?
On account of Mona.
Well, I don't want you to put yourselves out. Something else will turn up.
Now, wait a minute. I was just thinking.
What's that?
Well, it never hurts to spread a good thing around. You got any plans for this Saturday?
Well, I don't know. What do you have in mind?
Well, I thought we might fly down to Vegas. Get us a couple of girls. You can bring along Mona.
Why Vegas?
Oh, we got a friend down there. He made a killing at the crap tables a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Stuck it in $1,000 bills.
Oh?
Now, he sort of forgot to mention it on his income tax, and now he could use the loop, but he's afraid to cash in the bills himself.
Yeah, I see.
He might be willing to sell them to us at a discount. You interested?
No, not very.
Why not?
An old con game like that?
What?
Well, this is the best you can do. The $1,000 bill routine's got whiskers on it. I should have known.
What are you talking about? How would you know? Listen, Fawcett. What are you doing here anyway? Why'd you want to meet us?
I was kind of curious about how you boys work. I heard a lot about you.
Huh?
Thought maybe I could pick up a new angle or two. Looks like I was wrong.
What's the joke? Oh, don't you see? He was just checking up on our pitch.
Yeah?
Well, he's a con man, too. Oh, you really pulled one this time, Mona, picking a pro for a mark.
How was I supposed to know?
Well, just one look. You should have been able to tell played as a nose on your face.
It is, huh?
Sure. Don't take it to heart, buddy. You might fool the suckers, but I'm in the same racket. Well, I should have guessed it when you walked in the door. It's written all over you.
Yeah.
Where you been pitching lately?
City Hall.
Huh?
I'm a police officer. You're under arrest.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On February 2nd, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Mabel Harris Salton was tried and convicted of grand theft, one count, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Thomas Herbert Porst and Fred James Porst, alias Philip, and Steve Bonham were tried and convicted of grand theft, two counts, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Grand theft is punishable by imprisonment in the county jail for not more than 1 year, or in the state prison for not less than 1 nor more than 10 years.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. You get a teletype warning you that 2 hold-up men are heading for your city. You know they're armed and dangerous. Your job? Be ready for them.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, April 5th. It was raining in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief Detective Thad Brown. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from R&I, and it was 8:46 a.m. when I got to room 27A. Squad room. Frank?
Yeah, Joe. Back here. How about it? Turn anything?
Yeah, a couple of names. None of them match the descriptions.
Mm-hmm.
One of the mugs supposed to be in.
This afternoon's mail, they said they were sending them there special.
It'll be easier when we know who we're looking for, huh?
Yeah, they will.
Friday, Smith?
Yeah, Skipper.
Got a minute?
We're right there.
Morning.
Yeah.
Close the door, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Sit down. Here. Take a look at this.
What is it?
It's about the Merton brothers.
Oh.
I just talked to Leopold.
Sheriff in Las Vegas?
That's right. Gave me as much as he could on the Merton.
Well, we checked our records. There's nothing on them here.
Isn't likely. From what Leopold says, they're fresh out from the east.
You name a town?
No, someplace in Georgia. They're trying to run it out.
Mm-hmm. Bulletin we got said they pulled a couple of gas station holdups over there. Anything else?
Yeah, at least they think so.
Yeah.
According to their records, the boys got into town a couple of months ago. No visible means, but plenty of money. Hung around the places on the strip, gambled, drank, had themselves quite a time.
Yeah?
The department over there started to wonder where the money was coming from, put a couple of men on them full time.
What'd they find out?
Not much. Merton's played it cozy. They were finally picked up on a drunk charge, mugged and printed. Nothing to hold them on, so they were released.
Yeah.
Next morning, they skipped town, left clean. On the way out, they stopped long enough to kick in a couple of those gas station motels, along the highway.
Yeah.
Scored pretty good.
The victims make the identification right away?
Yeah. As soon as they saw the pictures, sheriff's office notified Baker. Highway patrol there was waiting, but they must have gotten through before the word went out.
Mm-hmm.
We've been able to trace them through Barstow, Victorville, on through Pear Blossom, Little Rock. They worked hard all the way.
What do you mean?
3 service stations, 2 restaurants, 1 motel.
Anything on them here in L.A.?
Not yet. It's a matter of time. We got to get them before then.
Yeah.
All the victims tell the same story. These 2 guys are off their rockers. The way it stacks up, they're well armed. The car they're driving is cold, and they're on the needle.
Heroin?
Well, we got it. Leopold says they kept a couple of dates with known pushers in Vegas. As far as he could tell, there wasn't anything passed. That doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's the story. Get on it.
Okay, Skipper.
I told you before, it's a matter of time till they try to put somebody around here in town.
Yeah.
A couple of crazy gunmen, high on H. Bad combination. Somebody's got to lose.
Well, let's hope it's not us. Ethan Gifford Merton, WMA, 27 years, 5 feet 8 inches, 165 pounds, and his brother, Grady James Merton, 24 years, 5 feet 6, 152 pounds, arrived in Los Angeles on the morning of April 5th. The first word we had of their presence was a hotshot telephone call reporting the robbery of a market on the corner of Santa Monica Boulevard and Monroe Street. The market owners, Mr. and Mrs. Turner Dillon, had both been pistol whipped. Mr. Dillon had been removed to George Street Receiving Hospital for treatment of a skull fracture. The woman had been given emergency treatment on the scene and referred to her own doctor. The description the victims gave us matched the Merton brothers. As soon as the mugshots from Las Vegas arrived, Frank and I drove out to see Mrs. Dillon. We found her in the small apartment above the store.
I just talked to the doctor at the hospital. He said Turner'd be all right.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure a wonder the way they hit him.
Yes, sir.
No reason for it. We'd have given him the money. Turner kept telling him, take the money and leave us alone. Take the money. Didn't make any difference to him. I don't think they even heard us.
We'd like you to look at some pictures, Mrs. Dillon, and see if you can point out the men.
Oh, sure. Anything to help you catch him.
Here you are, man.
Think you brought him in here, do you?
I hope so, yes.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're right.
Ma'am?
Here they are. Same two. Am I going to help you get them?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you notice that they drove a car, Mrs. Dillon?
I can't tell you for sure. We didn't really see until they were in the store.
I see.
Well, there must be something wrong with men who beat somebody up like that. Off here. Can't be a normal person.
What'd they say to you?
Well, told us it was a stick-up. Said to hand over the money. The bigger one, that's him right there. He said for us to hurry up.
I see.
My husband opened the cash register, then I gave him what was there. The big one told him to get to the safe, hand over that money, too.
Yeah.
Pointed the guns at us, kind of pushed us back to the safe. Turner opened it. All the time, we did just what they said. We weren't going to cause them any trouble.
Yeah.
Handed them all the money, every dime. Turner kept saying, take the money, but leave us alone. He must have said it 50 times. Before I even knew what was happening, Turner was lying on the floor. He'd been hit. I got mad. I tried to get at the man myself. Didn't make any difference to him. I was a woman. They hit me, too.
With the gun?
Yeah, here. Right on the face. Guess they didn't hit me as hard as they did Turner. Guess they didn't. After that, they left the store.
Did you see him go?
Not too good. To tell you the truth, I was more concerned with taking care of my husband than paying attention to them.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of hoodlums. I don't know where men like that come from. Must be something wrong with the way they were brought up.
Yes, ma'am.
Truth come out, it'll probably be their parents who ought to be in jail, not the boys at all.
Well, you might be right.
Sure, it's not the boys' fault.
Well, we'll settle for him. "4:25 p.m. We received a communique from the FBI telling us that the Merton brothers are wanted by the state of Alabama for escape. A complete record on the two men was also sent. They've been arrested a total of 26 times for everything from petty theft to kidnapping. According to the kickback, they'd escaped from a road gang while serving a sentence for possession of narcotics. We contacted the authorities in Alabama and asked them to forward all available information on the suspects. After talking with Captain Donahoe, Frank and I went over to the First Street Station to see Captain Walter. We asked him to supply a list of places the two brothers might turn for a narcotic contact. He gave us a list of several places in town and the names of men we could talk to. 8:16 p.m. We started to check them out.
Yeah, what'll it be?
You seen Patsy Hayworth around?
Well, why are you looking for him?
Want to talk to him?
What about?
Well, if we wanted you to know, we'd ask for you, wouldn't we?
You guys cops?
That's right. Now, where's Patsy?
I don't know.
Come on. We got word that he hasn't been more than 3 blocks away from here in the past 4 years. Now, where is he?
I told you, I don't know.
You're not being smart, mister.
Hey, back room.
Is he alone?
Yeah, as far as I know.
What's he doing?
Nothing different, playing solitaire.
All right.
Yeah? You want something?
You Patsy Hayworth?
That's right. Sit down. I know you.
I don't think so.
You're in the wrong room.
Police officers, we got some questions for you.
That don't guarantee the answers.
It's a start.
Go.
You heard from the Merton brothers?
Who?
Grady and Ethan Merton.
No name.
You don't know them.
Red Queen and a Black King, and I could turn him over. That's the baby I've been looking for. It's the first time today.
Is that so?
Yeah. First win. Too bad I didn't pay for the deck. I'd have made a killing.
All right, now, come on, Hayworth. What do you know about the Mertons?
I told you nothing. Now, why come to me? A lot of other guys in town?
They're going to need 8. The way we got it, you can steer them to it.
Old friends again.
All right, get your coat.
Why?
Let's take a ride.
For what?
We can't talk here. Let's go downtown.
Well, it's a nice place. There's nothing wrong with right here.
All right, then, what do you know?
What's in it for me?
Why?
Well, information like that ought to be worth something.
You know we can't do anything for you. Come on, let's go.
Well, how long do you figure you're going to be able to hold me?
Long enough.
How do you make that?
Well, I'll tell you. We'll take you downtown, process you, pass the word you copped out. Told us about a half a dozen people in town. Thing like that gets around, you're going to be in trouble. You'll come back with what we want to know.
Well, that's kind of crummy. It almost builds the blackmail.
Now, you called it. We didn't.
You'd really do that?
We would.
All right. You crossed out all the roads. What do you want to know about the Mertons?
You know
I met them yet.
Where?
Place down the street.
When?
Last night.
What is it, a bar or hotel?
Hotel.
them. Are they there now?
No, we just used the room to meet.
You know where they are?
No.
What they want?
You called it, H.
You do them any good?
No, I told you the truth. I'm not pushing anymore.
Why'd they come to you?
Heard I could turn them on.
What'd you tell them?
Oh, said I couldn't help him. I told him I'd try and line something up. Stall, you know. I don't want any part of that action. You know, if I could have a piece of it, the answer would be no.
Why?
Well, these guys are too far out. They must be shooting 7, 8 caps a day. Got to spend most of their time cooking. They're out of their skull, these guys.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything that'll help box them in?
I don't know. Hey, maybe the broad.
What do you mean?
Well, they're dragging a broad with them, a big one. Must be 6'2" in her stocking.
You know her?
I've seen her around.
Where?
Used to hustle drinks downtown. Got too rough for some of the managers. They tied the can to her. She's been floating for a couple of months. Ties into some guy who'll pay the bill. As soon as he wises up, she drops and goes on the prowl.
She got an address?
Oh, I can't name it. Some flea bag on 5th, I think.
She a hide?
I don't know.
She might chip you with it. Not steady enough.
Mm-hmm.
But she's smart, you know. How you look, she'd do real good. One of the homeliest women I ever met.
Is that so?
Yeah, looks like she should be wearing a bridle.
Where can we get in touch with her?
Well, it's hard to say since she's running with the Mertens.
Yeah.
You might try the Ten of Hearts.
Where's that?
It's a dive on 6. She used to show for the place. When they kicked her out, she went freelance. She still hangs around, I think.
All right. How'd you leave it with the Mertens?
Huh?
They going to contact you?
I don't know. They might. Want me to call you if they do?
Yeah, we'd appreciate that.
Okay. You got a card?
Here.
Thanks. I'll give you a ring.
All right, Hayward. We'll hear from you, right?
Yeah. There you are, you see?
What?
You should have banked the game. I lost.
No, you didn't.
Huh?
You won. We returned to the office and ran the name and description of the woman through the record section. We came up with a package listing arrest for violation of Section 647.5 of the Penal Code and 4220 LAMC, soliciting drinks. She'd served 2 terms in the county jail and at the present time was not on parole. We got her address and drove out to see her. The landlady at the apartment house told us she was out and wasn't expected back at any certain time. Frank and I drove down to the Ten of Hearts, a small bar on 6th Street. We found the woman sitting on one of the front stools.
Hi, honey. Like to buy a drink?
Your name Jane Finletter?
Names don't mean anything here. Just friends. That's all it really counts, friends.
How about it? That's your name?
Are you guys cops?
That's right.
What are you rousting me for? I ain't done nothing.
We're not rousing you. We want to talk to you.
About what?
Let's get outside. It'd be easier to talk there.
I got a choice.
Not much.
Okay. Henry,
Yeah, Jane.
save the stool. I'll be right back.
Okay.
So,
Right out here. We can talk in the car.
yeah.
Go ahead, get in.
Okay, what's the beef?
You work here, do you?
You mean this place?
That's right.
Once in a while, I come in, have a couple of drinks, that's it.
Where do you live?
I've been the route cop. You're right out here to pass the time of day. What are you after?
A couple of questions.
Not the power for that.
What do you mean?
You're not uniform. You don't send a suit out to ask about a traffic accident.
What do you do with your time, Jane?
Move around.
Well, lay it out for me. What?
When?
Starts first of the week, huh?
Okay. Slept late Monday. Got up about 1:30. Had a bad night Sunday. Woke up with a real head.
Mm-hmm.
Tagged the bar on the corner. Had a couple of Bloody Marys. Went home. Changed my clothes and met a friend.
You want to give us his name?
Ain't go any farther.
Not from us.
Nick Pfeiffer.
Okay, what happened then?
I was out with him until maybe 2:30.
That's in the morning.
Yeah. Came home, went to bed. Slept until about 11:32.
Mm-hmm.
Got a call from a couple of friends who just got into town.
Get their names?
Same deal.
Same deal.
A couple of brothers. They met a girlfriend of mine in Las Vegas. She gave them my number.
How about the names?
Ethan and Grady Merton.
Okay.
Met them, had a couple of drinks, and drove out to the beach for lunch. Came back to town, had dinner. Takes us up to last night.
You seen him today?
No. Ethan called me this afternoon.
Yeah.
Said they had some kind of a business deal to take care of this evening. After that, they were going to pick me up.
Where?
Here, in about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
That the reason for the muscle, the Merton brothers?
Might be.
They got a game going. I'm not on their side. I want that clear. They pulled a boo-boo. They did it themselves. No help from me.
Mm.
As far as I'm concerned, they both got soft spots.
What do you mean?
In their skulls. Soft.
They say what this business was they had to take care of?
No, mentioned something about somebody owing them money, something like that, so they were going to collect.
Didn't say where, though.
Not to me.
Mm-hmm.
The way they were rigged last night, though, doesn't leave a lot of doubt.
Hmm?
All those guns going out to collect.
Yeah.
They weren't going to do it nice.
We called the office and told them what had happened. Another team of men were sent out to help us cover the place. Frank and I took up our positions in the back of the bar and we waited. 1:15 a.m., 1:30, 1:45.
What do you think, Joe?
I don't know.
Maybe they decided not to show up.
It's possible.
Yeah. Hey, Joe, I got an idea this morning.
Yeah.
While I was shaving.
Mm-hmm.
I always have trouble, Try all the things they tell you. Let the lather stay on 2.5 minutes, hot water, all the things you're supposed to do. I've tried them all.
Mm-hmm.
Finally came up with the answer.
You did, huh?
Yep.
Well, what is it this time?
New kind of razor?
New razor.
Yeah. I got thinking about Faye and gave me the idea.
How does that work?
Faye's my wife.
Yeah, I know that. She's shaving now?
Oh, Joe, you don't understand. She's not shaving.
No?
No. See, last night she gave herself one of those home permanents, and I got the idea from that.
For the new razor?
Yeah. They got those permanent things for different kinds of hair, like hair that's hard to curl, medium, easy to curl. Easy,
I think I know what's coming here.
Well, if somebody invented a razor for tough beards, medium beards, light beards, he'd do all right.
Mm-hmm. You going to invent it, are you?
Sure, I'm not going to invent it. You know how I am with those things. Just got the idea, though, that's all. I'd sure like to buy one if they had them. Mm-hmm. Tough beards, find you one right away. Yeah. First day. That'd be the answer.
Well, here comes ours. Looks like Grady Merton just came in, doesn't it?
Yeah. Wonder where his brother is.
Might be outside.
Wait a minute before we move. He's talking to the thin letter woman.
Yeah. Now it's starting to leave. Let's go. We'll take him outside.
Right.
All right, Merton, hold it up.
He's leaving, Joe.
All right, come on, calm down. Take it easy.
Leave me alone.
Police officer.
Take it easy. All right, now, come on, Merton. Get up.
Come on.
Now, get over there by the wall.
Now, stand still. Here, Joe. Luger. Hurting still.
Yeah.
All right, put your hands down the back.
What are you shoving me around for, cop? You're going to be sorry about...
Where's your brother?
You'll find him.
You got a fat mouth, mister. Now, where is he?
I won't lead you to him.
Got him, huh?
That's right.
You turned him on, didn't you?
You talk to me. Guys like you always causing trouble.
Ah, you cheap bum. I don't know what he's in season. You're sure going to be sorry when he hears about this.
Tell him to stay away, too.
He'll get you. You can't dig far enough to get away. He'll find you and pay you back.
All right, that's enough. Now, let's go.
You tell her. She's going to collect interest on it. She'll be sorry.
Not alone.
Huh?
She'll have company. The other team of men remained at the bar in the event the other suspect returned. We took Grady Merton to the city hall for questioning. Empty your pockets.
Huh?
Come on, empty them out.
Wallet. Change, keys, handkerchief, penknife. That's it.
Let me see your arms, Merton.
Huh?
Come on, let me see your arms.
What for?
Now, there's two ways to do this. You take your choice.
Okay. All right.
When'd you have your last pop?
You got to prove it.
That won't be hard. All we got to do is drop you in an ISO cell, and you'll be screaming for it.
Sure. You get all the money you can on that. I'll book it myself.
Let me see the wallet.
There's nothing wrong with your reach.
This the pink slip on your car?
Yeah.
Bought it in Nevada?
That's what it said.
Yeah. What are those keys for?
Nothing. I just like to carry them.
Stand up.
Now, what happens now? You hit me?
Turn around. Forgot something, didn't you, Merton?
Huh?
Key here. What's it for?
I never saw it before.
Hendricks Arms Hotel. Is that where you've been staying?
I'm not going to say anything anymore. You want me to talk? It's got to be with a lawyer.
All right.
I know my rights. You can't make me say nothing more.
You don't have to.
Huh?
We got all we need. We had Grady Merton taken to the main jail and held to answer charges of violation of Section 211 PC. 3:26 a.m., Frank and I left the office and drove out to the Hendricks Arms. It was a large private home in the Crenshaw area that had been converted into a hotel. Frank covered the back entrance to the building, and I walked up the steps.
Just a minute. I'm coming. You know, it's 3:30. Hope you got a good reason coming around here this time of night.
Police officer, can you tell me who's registered in room 5C?
What for?
Police business.
Listen, mister, this is a clean place. There's no trouble. Now, that's the way I run it. That's the way I want it to
Yes,
stay.
sir. Now, who's in room 5C?
A couple of guys.
What are the names?
I don't know, Smith or something. White rented the room to him. Only seen him a couple of times.
All right, does one of them look like this picture?
Come in here while you get some light, huh?
All right.
Now then, let's take a look. Oh, this is
fella here?
That's right.
Well, yes. Guess that's one of them. Yeah.
Is he in now?
Well, I wouldn't have any way of knowing that. Tenants come and go as they please. See, as long as they don't let the water run, don't have no loud parties, we don't bother.
Where is the room?
It's the third floor rear.
Okay. This hall go to the back door?
Yeah, you got to go through the kitchen. Say, can you tell me what this is all about?
It'd be better if we didn't.
You going to be in shooting?
I don't think so.
Well, if there is, I can give you a hand. I got a 12-gauge in my room. I used to hunt ducks. I can get it if you give
No,
me a
sir,
hand.
that won't be necessary. All right, thanks.
Yeah. Is he here?
Don't know yet. Is there any back stairs?
Yes, sir. Right through there. Looks like a closet, but you open another door and you can go on up.
All right, sir. Do you have a key to the room?
Yeah. Here you are. Want me to go with you?
Might be better if you stayed here.
Yeah, well, I'll get my gun and guard the front door. He won't get out. I'll guard it.
This is down this way.
Yeah, easy. No noise.
No. You all set?
Yeah.
Locked.
Behind you, Joe.
I get the light.
All right, what are you doing? Hi, Jack, what are you guys doing
Get
here?
up. Come on up.
All right, how'd you get to me? How'd you do it?
We did.
I should have killed you all the time in the world, and I didn't do it. I should have killed you.
Yeah, you should have.
Perfect shot, and I couldn't do it. No reason at all. Wouldn't have cost me any more.
That's so?
Yeah, sure, they never executed anybody in this state for killing a cop. Wouldn't have cost me any more.
You got a bigger bill than you can pay now. Come on.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On August 18th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Ethan Gifford Merton and Grady James Merton were tried and convicted of robbery in the first degree, 5 counts, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of from 5 years to life. Because of the viciousness of their crimes, their sentences were set to run consecutively. A hold was placed on them by the state of Alabama in the event they are paroled. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Brasher. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Herb Ellis, Virginia Gregg, Vic Rodman, Bert Holland. Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely different Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles. Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a narcotics detail. You get a tip that a man is peddling heroin at his place of residence. He's a known user. Your job? Check it out.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
So was Tuesday, September 6th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of narcotics detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Walter. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 9:33 p.m. when we got to the corner of 8th and Temple. Converted garage.
Is that the right address?
Yeah, why don't you swing around here at the corner? We can park across the street up there.
Okay.
Yeah, right up here will do.
All right. Sure isn't much of a house. Looks more like a store or something.
Yeah.
You sure that's where he's living, Joe?
Yeah, Nicky says the place used to be a garage.
Oh?
Fellow who ran it went broke. Turned it into living quarters.
Oh, I see. How long's Denson been staying here?
About 6 months.
Alone?
No, he's got his family with him. Wife, 2 or 3 kids.
All right. Now, what do you think? Should we tap him now?
Let's give it a couple of minutes, see if he's drawn any customers.
Okay. Is this Nicky sure about all this?
Yeah, he says he is. Says Denson's loaded for action, 30 or 40 caps.
Just got him tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Nicky know who we got him from?
If he does, he wouldn't tell me.
Joe.
Hmm?
Front door.
Yeah.
Must be the wife. Wonder who she's looking for.
I don't see anybody.
I guess she doesn't either.
Well, that might make it a little easier for us.
What do you mean?
She left the door open. Approximately 45 minutes earlier, we'd received a telephone call from an informant named Nicky Corbin. Corbin had reported that Slim Denson, a known narcotics user who lived at the corner of Temple and 8th, had some 30 or 40 caps of heroin in his possession. Corbin said Denson was getting ready to push the stuff. Frank and I waited across the street from the Denson residence for 26 minutes. During that time, no one came in or out of the house, but the front door remained open. 9:59 p.m., a young man turned the corner and headed into the converted garage. 5 minutes later, he reappeared and started down the street.
Should we talk to him?
Yeah. Wait a minute, Frank.
Huh? I guess he forgot something.
Yeah.
Going back inside.
Well, let's give him some company. The man re-entered the Denson residence. As soon as he disappeared through the front door, I moved in after him. At the same time, Frank went around to the rear of the building. The garage had been crudely partitioned into rooms, and the front area contained an overstuffed sofa, a dining room table, and chairs, and a TV set. In addition to the young man who had gone in ahead of me, there were 2 other people in the room. The woman who had previously appeared in the doorway and a sallow-faced, middle-aged man.
Now, hold on, mister. Where do you think you're
Police
going?
officer, you're under arrest.
Police?
That's right. Don't move any of you.
It's a fine time for you to be showing up. You ought to be ashamed.
How's that?
3 hours ago. That's when you should have been here. That's when we needed you.
Oh, now, take it easy, Alice. Don't start raising those things.
Little girl, only 7 years old, running around the city like this. Lord knows what could have happened to her. You call her copy, don't even show up till 3 hours later.
I told you, hold your mouth.
Elsie's my baby. I was half out of my mind when she didn't come home from school. No thanks to you that she got home at all.
I don't know what you're talking about, lady.
Elsie, that's what I'm talking about, my baby.
Yeah. Anybody else around, Frank?
Yeah, a couple of youngsters sleeping in one of the back rooms. That's it.
All right. Now move over that wall. Go on, move.
I never heard of such a thing. Little girl gets lost on her way home from school. You send for a policeman that treats you like you was
You better
dirt.
get it straight, lady. You're under arrest. All of you. It hasn't got anything to do with your daughter.
Arrest?
Hey, but you can't arrest me. I ain't done anything.
Is that so?
You got to have a reason for picking somebody up, a good reason.
Suspicion of violation of the State Narcotics Act. Is that good enough?
What?
Come on, over against the wall.
Come on, move. I'll check him, Joe.
Well, I see. You sure are making a mistake.
Yeah, we always do.
Worse than any mistake. You're plumb out of your mind. That's what you are.
Sure.
Called you on account of Elsie. On account of she got lost.
You're all right. They're cleaned up.
All right.
That's why we wanted you. Help us find her. Didn't have nothing to do with no narcotics.
If your daughter was missing and you reported it, you'd have had plenty of help.
Of course we reported it 3 hours ago. That's when you called them, Slim.
Huh?
When you went down to the drugstore, you said you was going to use the phone.
Oh.
Well, you called them, didn't you?
I guess maybe I forgot.
Forgot? Your own flesh and blood? Your own baby?
What's the difference? She's home, ain't she?
A lot of difference. You give me your word.
Now,
That's all.
look. You found your little girl. You got something else to worry about now.
I sure don't know what you're aiming at, mister.
You don't, huh?
Neither do I. You're accusing me of having something to do with narcotics, and I ain't never been mixed up with dope. I never even touched the stuff, not once.
Well, then we'll start with you.
Well, go right ahead. I ain't got nothing to hide.
What's your name?
Boston, Jerry Boston,
How old are you?
23.
You live around here?
Down the street, 4 houses east.
What do you do for a living, Jerry?
I work in a filling station over on Pico.
You married?
Yeah?
You got any kids?
No, not yet. We're expecting one next month.
Mm-hmm. Where do you think you're going?
I just wanted to see if the youngsters are still
You stay right here. They'll be all right.
Well, you're only talking to Jerry. I don't know
We'll
why.
get around to you soon enough. Now, why don't you sit down and take it easy, lady?
Better do like you said, huh?
Bullying a person in our own home.
Why'd you come over here tonight, Jerry?
I heard about Elsie, that she was missing. I wanted to find out if they found her.
I see. You came in, you went out, and then you came back in again. Is that it?
Yeah, that's right.
Well?
Well, Kitty wanted me to ask Mrs. Denson here something. Kitty's my wife.
Yeah.
I forgot when I was here first, so I had to come back.
What was it your wife wanted to find out? Come on, Jerry.
Oh, wasn't nothing important, just something about when you're having a baby.
Uh-huh.
You want to step over here now, Jerry?
Huh?
Over here, please. Beside the table.
Sure.
All right, empty your pockets, will you?
Yes, sir.
Take everything out.
That's it.
All right, now turn the pockets inside out. How much money you got there, Jerry?
$25.
You always carry that much cash, Steve?
Oh, I got paid today.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, son, roll up your sleeves.
Do what?
Your sleeves. Come on, roll them up.
All right.
A little hard. Come on.
Okay.
Okay, roll them back down. You and the Densons pretty good friends, right?
Oh, we're neighbors.
How long you know each other?
4 or 5 months, I guess. However long they've been living here. Hey, what the heck you doing with that lamp?
Why, is the light bother you?
Well, it's kind of bright when you're looking right into it.
Okay, Jerry, put the stuff back in your pocket. Now take a seat someplace.
Wait a minute. You mean I got to stay here?
For the time being, yeah.
Well, look, Kitty will be worried. I only thought I was going to be gone a couple of minutes.
The idea of putting a nice young fellow like Jerry through all this foolishness. Well.
Let's see how well you do it now, Denson.
Huh?
Come on, over here.
You already been wrong once, haven't you?
Maybe.
No sense carrying on like this. No sense at all. Now, why don't you fellas just admit you made a mistake and go on your way?
Over here. Come on, quit stalling, will you? Move. Now, go ahead. You empty your pocket. Is that all of it?
You got every little doodad.
Turn them inside out.
Whatever you say.
What do you do for a living?
Well, at the moment, I'm sort of looking around, you might say.
Yeah, I bet you are.
You got a family, Denson. How you feeding them?
Oh, we manage. We manage pretty good.
How?
Don't you worry none about my children. Ain't going hungry as long as I can work.
You live off your wife, do you?
Now, ain't no way to put it at all. She's just helping out while I'm having a rough spell.
All right, Denson, roll up your sleeves, will you?
Come on, get them up, will you? Frank.
Yeah.
Look at this. He's got more tracks from the Southern Pacific.
Yeah.
Well, look here. I must have scratched myself the other day. You know, I was doing some carpenter work.
How long have you been a height fella?
Afraid I don't know what you mean.
Quit wasting our time, Denson. Now, how long?
Well, I reckon ain't no point in lying to you, gentlemen. Fact of the matter is, I did do a little chipping once in a while when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that was some years ago.
Those marks haven't even started scarring yet.
Hmm?
And from the looks of them, you're building up to a big batch of infections there.
Must be them scratches I was telling you about.
All right, Denson, where is it?
Huh?
The stuff, where'd you stash it?
Come on, Denson. We know you got 30 caps. We're going to find it anyway, so why hold out?
30 cats? A guy like me couldn't afford that much stuff. Now, you ought to have more sense.
What'd you do, give it to your wife?
You ought to say a thing like that. Well, even if I did have a little H, I sure wouldn't want her to get involved. Last person in the world. Now, you can say whatever you got in mind to where I'm concerned. Now, you just leave her out of this.
You were pretty anxious to go into the bedroom a little while ago, Mrs. Denson.
I told you leave her out. Now, if you won't do what I tell you...
Take it easy, Denson.
It don't matter what happens to me. You can lock me up, give me the gas chamber, it don't matter. But my wife, she's a fine woman. I won't have you attacking her reputation. You can throw me in jail if you want to, stand me up in front of a firing squad.
Hey, come on, Denson.
But there's no reason to drag her in, too.
Now, sit down.
She ain't done nothing. No reason to drag her in.
How about it, Miss Denson?
I just don't know what you're looking for, mister. I swear I don't.
Well, either you've still got it on you, or you've got it in the bedroom. Which is it? Well, you're not giving us any choice. Guess you better put in a call to the office, Frank.
Yeah.
Ask them they'll send a team over to take this joint apart.
Right.
Tell them we're bringing in a couple of suspects. See if they can get a policewoman to stand by so there'll be somebody to search Mrs. Denson when we get there.
All right.
Now, you just wait a minute, mister. Can't arrest us. Not both Slim and me.
Is that right?
What about my youngsters? I won't leave them here alone.
Can you get somebody to stay with them?
Well, I guess Josie will be home before too long.
Who's Josie?
Our oldest girl.
Where's she now?
Went to the movies with her boyfriend. She's full growed, almost 19.
How soon do you expect her back?
I don't know for sure. Pretty soon, hour maybe.
We can't wait that long. Looks like we'll have to take the kids in, too.
All right, Joe. I'll tell them downtown.
Yeah, that's Slim. You hear what they're saying?
Yeah.
You just gonna sit there? You gonna let them drag our youngsters out of bed in the middle of the night?
There's another thing I can do, hon. I tried to tell them. You heard me try.
I'm not gonna have my kids in jail. Not for you, not for nobody.
It ain't right to get a man through his family, mister.
Yeah.
I told you before. Don't make no difference what becomes of me. You can send me away. You can put me in prison the rest of my life. You can give me the gas chamber.
Oh, good. You all through now?
You see, hon, I tried.
Want to go ahead with the call, Frank?
Yeah.
Probably take 5 or 10 minutes to get the kids dressed, then we'll shove off.
All right.
I ain't gonna stand for it, Slim. I warned you. Those kids ain't going to jail on account of you.
Alice?
He asked me to hide it when we heard Jerry Boston coming up the block.
Well?
I put it inside my dress. All right, if I turn around?
Yeah.
I reckon this is what you want.
You know better than this, Mrs. Denson.
What?
There's no H in here. This is just his layout.
It's what he gave
You're
me.
married to a guy who's been hooked for a long time. You got a pretty good idea what this stuff looks like. We're not going to waste any more time here. Either you give us the caps or you go downtown, all 4 of you.
I'll get him for you.
You just tell us where they are.
Don't listen to him, Alice, honey. Don't listen.
Bedroom
Which one?
where the kids are sleeping.
Go on.
Under the pillow. Under Elsie's pillow. That's where he put it.
See the youngest?
Yes, sir. I'd appreciate it if you'd try not to wake her. She did a lot of wandering around when she's lost. She's all tuckered out. I had to tell him, Slim. I had to.
It sure was a lousy trick, mister.
What's that?
Holding them youngsters over her head, making her fret about them just so you could break her down.
Mm-hmm.
Real lousy. You ain't got no kids you own, have you?
No.
Oh, that's how I had it figured. The way you talked, Alice. The way you kept on her. Parent wouldn't act that way.
Mm-hmm.
Never in a million years. Not a real parent, that is.
Well, there's just one thing that I don't understand here, Denson.
What's that?
How would you know? One of the pillows in the children's bedroom, Frank found an envelope which contained 32 caps of heroin. Denson admitted that the H belonged to him, but he refused to tell us where he'd acquired it. Jerry Boston denied any knowledge of the drugs. We made arrangements for the 2 Denson children to be placed under protective custody of the Juvenile Division. 10:42 p.m., we took the Densons and Jerry Boston down to the Narcotics Bureau for further questioning. Our investigation revealed that Boston was not implicated in the case, and he was released. 11:17 p.m., while Frank interrogated the Denson woman, I talked to her husband in the adjoining room.
Oh, I never saw the like. You sure are hard to satisfy, mister. I told you the stuff was mine. Now what more do you want?
It just doesn't add up, Denson.
Don't see why not.
Well, you called it back at your place.
What's mean?
Well, where would a hype like you get enough money to buy 32 caps?
Well, I had me a little extra put away. Price was right, so I made a buy.
Oh, now, don't give me that. You're scratching just to keep even with your habit. I'll bet you hooked. Now, we've seen the marks on your arms. You want me to guess? 3 caps a day. That about it? All right, Denson. Who's the stuff belong to? Look, fella, you're dead. We can make you on possession, maybe even on sale.
Sale? You must be off your rocker. You know I never sold none of them.
Story we got, you're already to start pushing. For all we know, you started.
Anybody told you that, he's a liar.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't no pusher, never have been.
Then what are you doing with 32 caps?
I keep a telling you, mister, they were cheap.
How cheap?
$5 a cap. Now, that's mighty reasonable for them these days.
$165 isn't reasonable. You never saw that much money. All right, who'd you buy them from?
Oh, wouldn't be nobody you know.
Well, why don't you try me?
I don't know myself.
Uh-huh.
Ain't from L.A.
Yeah.
I met him last week, took a trip down south across the border.
Oh, sure you did.
That's how come I made me such a good buy.
You bet. Now, you listen, Denson. We didn't drop in on you tonight just because we were in the neighborhood.
Is that so?
We wouldn't have been there if we didn't have information. You know that as well as I do.
Well?
Our info is that you just got those caps tonight.
But I tell you, somebody sure has been spreading a lot of wild stories about me.
They've been on the nose so far. Where are you spending your time these days?
I reckon we covered that before.
Well, I reckon we'll try it again.
I stayed at home mostly.
Were you home yesterday?
Sure was.
Day before?
Yeah, as far as I can remember.
A real homebody, aren't you?
Figure ought to stick pretty close, seeing as how the wife's working.
Well, that's sure considerate of you. When was the last time you were downtown?
Whereabouts downtown?
Maine, Alameda, anywhere in there.
Afraid I just don't recall.
Last week, maybe?
Oh, no, it wouldn't have been last week. I wasn't feeling rightly. Didn't go no place last week.
Then how'd you get to Mexico?
Guess my memory ain't as good as it used to be. Reckon I'm kind of mixed up.
You sure are.
All right, in here, Frank. Sit right over there.
Now, honey, you take it easy. They can't do nothing to you.
She knew where the stuff was. That ties her right into possession.
Told you where to find it. What else do you want?
Who do the caps belong to, Mrs. Denson?
To Slim's. They belong to him.
Where'd he get them?
I don't know. Honest, I don't.
Did you have any visitors tonight besides Jerry Boston? Well, come on.
I can't think of nobody. Slim, you've got to do something. You've got to get me out of here.
Ain't a single solitary thing I can do.
I want to know what's happened to my kids.
All right, take it easy, lady. They're in good hands.
I want to know. They ain't never been away from me, not since they was born. They'll be all upset if I'm not there. Can't you understand how I feel?
Yes, we can.
My fault anyway. It's all my fault.
No, honey, you oughtn't talk like that.
Well, it is. I should have left you, Slim. I should have left you 10 years ago when you first started taking dope. We wouldn't have had the other two kids. It'd just be Josie. Bad enough what's happened to her.
Now, if you start worrying about Josie.
It's high time somebody worried about her, ain't it? Going out with a married man. Wasn't for you and your dirty, filthy dope. You'd never have met him.
Alice, I'm telling you, shut up.
That's enough out of you, Denson.
Oh, sure. He can't do no wrong as far as you're concerned. God gives you a free bindle. That makes him a fine fella, don't it? Fit company for your daughter.
What are you talking about, Miss Denson?
Kirk Helvey. That's who. He's the one that gives Slim them caps. He's the one. Going out with Josie. First thing you know, she'll be on the stuff, too, just like a father.
Is that who she's with tonight? Helvey?
Tonight. Last night. Every night. I talked to her till I was blue in the face. Just like her father, that's what she is, just like him.
You know where they went?
They said to the movies. No reason to believe them, though.
You could have given us all this, Denson.
Well, they weren't my caps. I was just keeping them for Perk till he brung Josie home tonight. Boy, if he finds out what's happened, he's sure going to blow his stack.
Yeah.
Guess maybe I got to shooting off my mouth too much about having them 32 caps. Made me feel like a big man. Never had that much stuff for my whole life. Told some of the other boys it was mine. Just shows you how you can get in trouble from a little exaggerating.
Yeah.
Only had them caps a couple hours before you fellas showed up. A couple of hours. That's all it took. Look at this here mess on me.
Oh, it took you a little longer than that, Denson.
What do you mean?
10 years. From previous investigations, Frank and I knew that Perk Helvey was involved in the narcotics trade. He'd been arrested several times for possession, but so far he'd always managed to escape conviction. At the time of his last arrest, some 5 months ago, he had been in the company of his wife, Marjorie. When the wife was searched, 3 ounces of heroin were found on her person. Marjorie Helvey had not been known to us as a pusher or a user. But when her husband was questioned, he denied any knowledge of the dope. His wife was sentenced to a term at the women's state prison. 12:08 a.m. Frank and I drove back to the Denson residence. The place was deserted. We went inside to wait for Helvey and Josie Denson. 1:16 a.m.
Well, if he wouldn't cop out to save his own wife, he's not going to give us anything.
You know.
Well, it sure is some family.
Well,
I can't help feeling sorry for the kids, though.
yeah, me too.
Wait a minute. Somebody's out in front, Joe.
Yeah.
How do you want to work it?
Well, let's split them up. I'll talk to the girl. You take him in the other room, see what you can get.
All right.
You want to come in for a sec?
Yeah, that's something to remember.
Guess they're all in bed.
Sure hope your old man didn't shoot too many of my camps.
Perk.
Police officer, you're under arrest. Don't try anything, Helvey.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on here? Where is everybody?
The folks are out.
What'd they do, get themselves pinned?
Let me see your purse.
Sure. Anything you want, help yourself.
Come on, move over here. Keep your hands out of your pockets and stand still.
Okay. It's a good thing I ain't ticklish, huh?
All right. Come on, Helvey.
Huh?
I want to talk to you out in back.
Yeah, sure.
What'd you guys do, draw straws for us? Well, don't look so sad about it, honey. You won.
I'm not so sure of that.
I got the smart one, huh?
Your mother and father have been arrested,
Oh?
and it's not going to go easy on them.
Who cares? The old man's a bum. Always has been. When I was a little girl, he was a lush. Now he's a hype. I don't notice any change.
What about your mother?
What about her?
She's been trying to hold the family together, hasn't she?
Might be better if it fell apart.
I'm going to give it straight to you, young lady. Your folks say that the caps we found belong to your friend Perk Helving. Is that true?
I wouldn't know.
You'd know if you wanted to. It's going to be their word against his unless you step in.
Include me out.
Maybe you got a beef against your father.
Maybe.
Whatever you give me won't help him much. Might make a difference in your mother's case, though.
Oh, come on. You don't care any more about my folks than I do. You're after Perk.
It was his stuff, wasn't it?
I don't know.
You better think it over.
Why should I?
You don't mean anything to him.
Isn't what he tells me.
He's got a wife, hasn't he?
The way I hear it, she's out of town.
You know who sent her there? Nothing to keep the same thing from happening to you.
It won't.
You ever seen your mother cry, Josie? Well, I did tonight. She wasn't crying for herself either. It was for you and your kid sisters. You got a choice. Who's it going to be? Your mother or that two-bit pusher in there?
Not a very nice way to talk about a friend of mine, is it?
Is that your answer?
I had a big night. I'm kind of tired. I've got nothing on me, so I think I'll just toddle off to bed.
You just stay put.
Joe.
Yeah. I'm not through with you yet. Stay here.
You were through before you ever started.
She doesn't care about her mother or anybody else. It'd be easier to crack Elvie, I think.
No, it was. But he copped out. So this stuff is his. He's got some more in his car.
What turned the key?
I don't know. Maybe he likes this girl.
Well,
Maybe that's why he held back on his wife to get rid of her.
When you guys get done comparing notes, I'd like to get a little shut-eye.
we're done.
Now you're playing it smart. No point in running into a stone wall, is there?
Your mind's made up, huh?
It's a general idea. You want to pin something on Perk, you better look someplace else.
We don't have to, and we don't need you either.
What?
Neither does your mother. For her sake, I'm glad she doesn't.
What are you trying to hand?
I'm not handing you anything. Perk gave us what we asked for, more than enough.
I don't believe you. Why should he?
Well, you better ask him.
Don't make any sense. I would have backed him up. Whatever he told you, he knows that.
Sure he does.
Crazy jerk. Probably thinks he's doing me a favor, helping out my folks. Some joke, huh?
Yeah. Who's it on?
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 28th, trial was held in Department 98, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Percy Foster Halsey entered a plea of guilty and was sentenced for violation of the State Narcotics Act, a felony. Porter Slim Denson and Josephine Annabelle Denson were tried and convicted of violation of the State Narcotics Act, a felony. Violation of the State Narcotics Act, a felony, is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 5 years to life. The two young Denson children were placed under 24-hour supervision in a foster home. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Virginia Gregg, Jack Crucian, Joyce McCluskey, Herb Ellis. Script by Frank Burt. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking.
Watch an entirely different Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the homicide detail. You get a call telling you that the body of a man has been found in the motel room. There's no lead to his true identity. Your job? Check it out. Dragnet, the the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, July 19th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from the main jail, and it was 5:27 p.m. when I got to room 42. Homicide.
Hi, how'd it go?
He's willing to make a statement. He copped to the whole thing.
That's going to save us some time.
Yeah. Could have saved a lot more if he'd gone with us last week, though.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Paperwork. Want to give me a hand?
Yeah.
Here.
Okay. How's the family?
Pretty good. Faye thinks she's got appendicitis. Faye thinks she has appendicitis. Woke me up at 2:30 this morning. Got a pain in her side. Sure it was appendicitis.
Yeah.
I told her to call a doctor. No, she didn't think it was that bad. Not to call a doctor. Just enough to keep me awake worrying about it. This morning the whole thing's gone, though. No trouble. Says it was probably heartburn.
Why don't you give her a couple of your Pepto pals?
Oh, Joe, that's very funny. Funny.
Homicide Friday. Yeah, that's right. What's that? What's that address? No, we'll be right out. No, not anything. Right. Goodbye.
Work?
Work. Made at a motel out on Sepulveda. Found a body in one of the cabins.
Yeah.
Thinks it's a suicide. Frank and I left the office and drove out to the address. It was a modern motel set back from the highway. There were 14 cabins surrounding a swimming pool on the lot. We met with the woman who'd placed the call and the owner of the place.
Right over there, number 8.
Anything been touched in the room?
No, sir. As soon as I saw him, I knew what had happened. I locked the door and called you.
I see.
What's his name?
Registered as Tom Rustad in Phoenix.
How long has he been here?
About 10 days. I'd have to check the card to be sure.
Is he alone?
Here, I got the key. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks. You touch the body at all?
No, I should say not. I've worked around motels for a long time, getting so nothing bothers me. Tell you, though, this almost did, like this scared me half to death.
Yes, ma'am. Better call the lab, ask them to come out.
Yeah. Be all right if I use the phone in the office?
Well, sure. You go right ahead. It's on the desk back of the counter.
Thanks.
Thing like this, it isn't going to do the place any good. I hope it can be played down in the papers.
Yes, sir.
This is the first kind of trouble we've had. Suicide. Sure isn't going to help. I wish there was some way to change it.
Well, there is, but that wouldn't help much either.
What do you mean? He's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, but he had help. 6:03 p.m. The crew from the crime lab arrived and started their investigation. Apparently, the victim had been killed with a small caliber gun. However, a search of the room failed to turn it up. The coroner's office was notified. They came out to check the body and go through his effects. 6:18 p.m. Frank and I talked with the motel owner in his cabin.
Now, here's the registration card. You can see there where he signed it.
Were you driving a car, do you know?
Oh, I never saw one.
How'd he get here?
You mean when he checked in?
Yeah.
By cab.
Did he tell you why he was in town?
No, he never mentioned it.
Did he work?
I don't know.
When he checked in, did he say how long he'd be staying?
No, he said it might be a week, 10 days.
How about visitors? Do you have any?
I didn't see any.
What about phone calls?
Yeah, he made some.
Do you have a record of them?
No. Usually we do. All the calls go through the board, but he used the phone booth outside.
I see.
A couple times I was out by the pool at night, you know.
Yes.
I'd be out there and I'd see him in the booth. A couple of times he talked for quite a while.
But you haven't got any idea who he was calling?
No. Dime called, though.
What's that?
Cost him a dime. I heard the bell ring when he dropped the money.
Well, they all do.
You get any mail?
No.
He paid for his room in advance?
Yeah, the first time he gave me the money for a week. And just a few days ago he paid for another week.
How'd he pay it?
What do you mean?
Well, by check or cash?
Oh, cash.
What size bills, you remember?
I never saw him use anything smaller than a 50. Mm-hmm. Sure seemed to have a lot of them. Guess maybe a couple $1,000.
Did he always carry that kind of money with him?
Well, I wouldn't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess he must have kept something smaller, though. Isn't everybody can change a 50?
Not everybody.
You gonna let his people know?
What's that?
Well, he must have some people over in Phoenix. They should know about him being dead.
Yeah.
Sure don't feel it's my place to tell him.
No, sir. We'll take care of it.
Okay. It's gonna be a shock to him. A guy his age. Probably got a wife and family. Not gonna do him any good.
Well, it works both ways, doesn't it?
Hmm?
Didn't do much for him. In going over the place, the crime lab found the room had been ransacked. Although none of the possessions of the victim had been taken, there was no money in the room and no personal identification could be found. The place was gone over for fingerprints. Several clean sets were lifted, but they belonged to the dead man. No other usable physical evidence was recovered. The coroner's office checked through the victim's luggage. In one of the suitcases, they found an unstamped letter addressed to a June Russell in Reno, Nevada. Its contents explained that the victim expected to be in that city at the end of the month. There was no way of establishing a relationship between the two people. The coroner sealed the motel room, and Frank and I returned to the office. We sent a radiogram to the authorities in Phoenix asking for all information on Tom Rustad. The following morning, Wednesday, June 20th, we got their answer.
There it is, Joe.
Phoenix?
Yeah, take a look.
Yeah, boy. It's going to make it rougher.
Yeah.
I never heard of him. In the hope of getting an identification of the victim, his fingerprint classification and description were sent to George Brereton up at CII Sacramento, FBI headquarters in Washington, and to the police departments in the 7 western states. A close check of his clothing revealed that Tom Rustad's suits were tailor-made and had been made in Reno. We contacted the authorities there and asked them to check on the tailor shops in the area. We also asked that they check out the woman Rustad had written to. While we waited for the answer, we contacted the cab company that had serviced the area around the motel. We asked them to go over their way bills and report all trips from the motel and all trips to the address. 2 hours later, we got the list and started to check out the drivers.
Sure, I remember the guy. A couple more like him, I could buy my own cab company.
What do you mean?
Well, he's a big tipper. Never had anything less than a half a sawbuck.
Mm-hmm.
Down at the stand, got to be a real battle. Who's going to pick him up? You know, the loop.
Yeah. Where'd you usually take him?
Well, different places, restaurants, shows, different places.
Did he ever tell you what he was doing in town?
Well, we'd talk. You know, a long drive downtown gets kind of dull. A couple of times he rode in the front seat with me. Guess maybe the company wouldn't like it, but that's the way he wanted it.
Mm-hmm. What'd you talk about?
Weather, fishing, lots of things.
Yeah.
Mostly about girls, though. He thought he was quite a ladies' man. The way he dressed, all that money he should have been.
You ever see any of his friends?
Listen, how come you're asking all these questions?
It's a police matter.
I knew that when I got the word from the front office. They told me to ride with you all the way. Well, what's the beef? You after Rustad or something?
Investigation.
Oh.
Now what about his friends?
Well, I sure wouldn't want him to find out, blow the whole deal. Probably wouldn't call me anymore.
What's that?
Marcia.
Who?
I don't know her last name. Some bimbo Rustad knew.
You ever meet her?
Not swamp.
What's that mean?
Why, she was in the cab. You know, I'd pick them up here, drive over to her place, and take the two of them down to a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So, real beaut. Was tall, blonde, gorgeous.
Rustad was pretty friendly with her, was he?
Yeah, I guess so. The way he talked, he liked her a lot.
You got her address?
Yeah, I suppose.
Huh?
Well, you guys roust it's going to lead right back to me. Cause a lot of trouble. Tell you, he's a funny guy. Talk about a lot of things, but he don't like to have you ask questions, especially about him.
Yeah.
Got real touchy when I talk about where he was from, what he did for a living.
Yeah.
That's why it's important you don't get in any trouble with him. I can use those tips.
Well, don't count on them anymore.
Huh?
They won't be coming. We got the address of the woman the driver knew as Marcia. We called the office to check on the wires we'd sent. There'd been no answer to any of them. 1:30 p.m., we drove over to see the woman. The place was a new apartment building on Wilshire Boulevard. On the mailbox, we found the name Marcia Lovequist and the information that she occupied apartment 14. We went up and rang the bell.
Well, doesn't look like she's home.
Yeah. Let's check with the manager.
All right. Sure a pretty pool, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah.
You know, you ought to get a place out here. It'd be great for you.
It would, huh?
Sure. Nice apartment, pool, get some sun.
Yeah, I got a lot of time for that.
Well, once in a while. It wouldn't cost so much.
Mm-hmm.
Be nice. Me and Faith come over and see you and bring the kids.
You bet.
Well, you wouldn't want to be a hog about the fool, would you?
Not me, Frank.
You feel that way, just forget the whole thing.
That's what I was planning.
You just forget it.
Here's the manager.
Can I help you?
Wonder if you could tell us where you can find Miss Lovequist.
Marcy?
Yes, that's right.
Oh, saw her a few minutes ago. Oh, yes, there she is over by the pool. See, with the straw hat.
Oh, yeah. Thanks very much.
Sure.
Thank you, ma'am.
Miss Lovequist,
Yes?
for police officers, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Policeman? I don't know what I could tell you, but go ahead.
Sorry if we sit down.
Sure. Pull up a couple of stools.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll get him.
Thank you. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How do you do?
That's fine.
Now, what do you want to see me about?
You know a man named Roosted?
Yeah, why?
Look and tell us about him.
In trouble?
No, we're just checking.
Oh. Well, what do you want to know?
You know where he's from?
Me his hometown?
That's right.
Someplace up north. I don't think he ever said.
How'd you happen to meet him?
Cocktail party, hotel downtown. There was a convention. My agent got me a job as a hostess.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a model. Do some work in TV. Things get a little rough. You take what you can get.
Yeah.
Well, Tom was there, and we got to talking. Went out to dinner. Quite a bit after that.
Did he tell you what he did for a living?
No, I don't think so. Salesman, I think. Talked like one.
What about this convention?
Hmm?
You know what it was for?
Oh, dentist. But he didn't have anything to do with that. He was just there.
Oh.
Told me he was sitting at the bar, and one of the guys asked him to come up and have a couple of drinks. That's all. He wasn't a dentist, though.
I see. Do you have any friends here in town, would you know?
Yeah, I don't. Listen, why don't you ask him? He'd go along with you. Nice guy. He'd be able to answer these questions a lot better than me.
Well, we're checking everybody who knew him.
Oh, I see. Well, nice guy. Had a lot of fun.
When did you see him last, miss?
Stayed for yesterday. We had dinner, took a drive. He came by for a nightcap, and then he called a cab and went home.
Did you hear from him yesterday?
No. Didn't really expect to.
Why?
Well, you see, we had kind of a fight. Nothing serious. I didn't figure I'd hear from him until maybe today, you know, till we both got over the mad.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us what the argument was about?
Well, all the same to you, I'd rather not.
It was pretty important that we know.
Well, I guess it can't do any harm. He was just getting too serious, that's all.
Yeah?
Too serious. Told him I had to go out of town on a modeling job. Santa Barbara, be gone a couple of days, and he got real mad. Said he didn't want me running around like that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Real possessive. I told him he didn't have any right to tell me what to do, that we weren't married, you know?
Yeah.
Well, from there it got loud. Him telling me I wasn't going to Santa Barbara, and me saying he couldn't stop me. He finally called the cab and went home.
What time was that?
Well, I guess about 3:30. Might have been 4, no later.
All right, thank you very much. If you should think of anything else, we'd appreciate a call.
Sure.
I'll leave you one of our cards.
Mm-hmm. Ask for either one of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, I'll tell you who you ought to talk to.
Who's that?
Well, you ought to see him anyway. I haven't heard anything, but Tom might have gone over there.
Who?
This photographer I was going to Santa Barbara with. Tom might have gone over to see him.
Can you give us his address?
Yeah, I've got it upstairs.
Did Roostad know this photographer?
Well, they'd never met. He knew about him, though.
Yeah.
That's why I might be able to tell you something.
No?
Well, Tom thought there was something between us, this other fella and me. Of course, I told him it was silly. It didn't make any difference, though. Real jealous, possessive.
Uh-huh.
Said him and the other fellow were going to tangle someday. I hope not.
Why?
I know the other guy.
Yeah.
He'd kill Tom.
We got the name and address of the photographer, and then we drove back to City Hall. We made a check through R&I, but we found no record on him. 3:06 p.m.
Well, looks like we might have a lead.
Yeah, I hope it turns out, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Homicide, Friday. Yeah. Yeah, Jack. No, we've been waiting for it. Can you give it to me over the phone? We'll pick up the copy later. Okay, go ahead. Mm-hmm. What? How do you spell that? Rossfelle. Yeah. All right. As soon as it comes in. Yeah, we'd appreciate a call on it. Right. Okay. Jack Ricketts down in communications.
Yeah?
Got a teletype from Reno.
About Roostad?
Yeah, they got a record on him. Real name's Thomas Roselle.
That's the name on the letter.
Yeah, they ran it down.
What they got on it?
Been arrested for bunco, grand theft, money, forgery. Haven't been able to make any of them stick.
Mm-hmm.
From what they say, a couple of months ago, he went into a new line. They figure that's what he's pitching now.
What's that?
Narcotics.
What about this Roselle woman? She your sister?
No, his wife.
Huh?
Married, got 3 kids.
Her up there and this Marcia woman here, and he's swinging real wide.
Yeah.
They come up with anything more?
Possible motive, maybe.
Yeah.
When Roselle left town, they got a rumble he was coming down here on business.
Uh-huh.
Had 12 ounces of heroin to peddle. We put in a call to Narcotics Division and talked to Captain Walter. He told us they didn't have anything on Roselle, but they'd heard about a new supply of high-grade heroin being moved into town. We told him what we'd found, and then we drove out to talk to the photographer the victim's girlfriend had mentioned.
Well, I'm sorry, fellas. I haven't got any idea what you're talking about.
Have you seen Tom Rustad or Roselle?
Sure, I didn't say I hadn't. But I didn't have anything to do with killing him.
How'd you know he was dead?
It's all over the afternoon papers. Don't you boys read your own publicity?
When did you see him?
Rustad?
Yeah.
Night before last.
Monday?
Yeah, I guess so. Really, Tuesday morning.
What time?
Oh, about 4:15. Yeah, that's it. It was 4:15, I remember, because he woke me up. I looked at the clock.
What do you want?
Oh, he had some wild idea there was something going between me and Marcia.
Was there?
Well, I don't see if there's any of your business, but it doesn't matter to me, so I'll tell you. No, there wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
She's a model. I'm a photographer. She worked for me. I paid her $25 an hour. That's all there was.
Yeah.
I ain't going to tell you it wouldn't have been nice, but it just didn't happen. I don't believe in romance around the office. Doesn't do anything but cause trouble.
Yeah.
What happened when Rustad came in?
Oh, made a lot of accusations. I told him they weren't true. Said he had a filthy mind. Told him to get out.
Did he go?
No, I tried a little muscle. I belted him a couple of times, and that ended it.
Mm-hmm.
Poured him a drink to show him there weren't any hard feelings, and a couple more.
Yeah.
Picked it around a while, and then he left.
What did you talk about?
Look, am I a suspect? Is that way on my back?
We're talking to everybody who knew him.
Well, you can cross my name off the list. I belted him, that's all. I didn't shoot him.
All right. Did he call a cab from here when he left?
No, I was going to, and then he decided to walk.
Did you see him leave?
Certainly. I locked the door after.
Oh.
Watched him walk outside from the window there. Must have changed his mind about the cab, though.
What?
Cab. Must have changed his mind.
I thought you said he didn't take one.
I said he didn't call one. A cruiser picked him up. They drove off.
You didn't get the number of the cab, did you?
Look, a guy woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Came in here, wanted to start a beef. I finally got rid of him. I'm a 9 to 6 boy. I haven't got time to stand around windows and get cab numbers for you cops. I went back to sleep.
All right, Nestler, anything comes up, give us a call, will you?
Yeah, sure.
Take this card, will you?
Oh, look, I'm sorry if I sounded off. Just that I don't want to get mixed up in it. You can understand that, can't you?
Sure.
No hard feelings, eh?
No.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't like Rustad. I didn't like him an inch, but I didn't hate him. Not enough to kill him.
Somebody did. We contacted the cab company again and asked them to check the way bills from Nestler's address. They came up with one trip on Tuesday morning. The dispatcher gave us the driver's name and told us where we could find him.
Yeah, I remember the guy. Looked like he had a beef with somebody, real cut up.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you take him?
I think. It was a hotel downtown.
Remember the name?
I dropped him off at the corner of Margot. He went into a hotel there. See, the Rolling Arms, I think it was. Yeah, that's the place.
All right, thanks a lot.
I'm glad to help out. Say, this fella, he the same one who was killed yesterday?
That's right.
Oh, I sure seen a lot of him. Newspapers, television, a lot of him. Always works that way, don't it?
What do you mean?
After you're dead, you're famous.
Mm-hmm.
When it's too late to enjoy it.
Frank and I drove down to the Roland Arms Hotel. We talked with a clerk who'd been on duty Tuesday morning. He remembered a man answering the victim's description and told us he'd inquired about a guest named Wallace Olney. Because of Rustad's insistence, the clerk had put through a call to Olney, and the guest said to let the victim come upstairs. He went on to say that about 30 minutes later, both men had left the hotel together. 9:40 p.m., we went up to Wallace Olney's room.
Here it is, George.
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah?
Wallace Olney?
That's right.
Police officers, like to talk to you.
Sure, come on in.
This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hi.
That's all right.
Like a drink? I'm just going to fix myself one.
No, thanks.
Always like a drink before dinner. Sharpens up the old appetite.
Yeah. Mind if we look around?
No, go ahead. You look for anything special? I might be able to help.
No, it's all right.
I check the closet. Well, maybe you better tell me what this is all about, huh?
You know a man named Tom Rustad, or Roselle?
Why?
You know him?
Yeah, I met him.
I'm clean, Joe. I don't know about the closet.
Well, what about Rooster?
When'd you see him last?
I don't know, a few days ago.
Want to pin it down for us?
Monday. Yeah, Monday.
That's the last time you saw him.
Yeah, we had a couple of drinks in the bar at the corner, and I haven't seen him since.
We got two people who say you did.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk to them. Leave me alone.
You ever been arrested?
Why?
Have you?
Yeah.
What beef?
I don't think I'm going to answer that.
You don't have to. We'll find out.
Narco?
Where you from?
All around.
Name of city.
Frisco, Vegas, KC, all around.
How about Reno?
Yeah, I've been through.
That where you met Rustad?
Look, what are you guys after?
You got the answer to that. Why not save some time?
I got a lot of time.
So have we.
Well, let's be honest with each other, huh?
Go ahead.
Why don't you guys lay out what you got, and I'll tell you how close you are.
That'd be kind of silly, wouldn't it?
Why?
Like playing checkers with yourself.
Nothing I can do then.
How about the closet?
Look, you make a pinch, I got no choice. If you're wrong, I'll own City Hall.
I don't think we are.
And be my guest.
All right, you're under arrest.
Charge?
Suspicion of murder.
I'll check the closet.
Save you the trouble. I killed him.
The search of the closet turned up a driver's license and other identification for Thomas Roselle. We also found a .25 caliber gun, $2,700 in cash, and a quantity of heroin. The suspect was taken to City Hall for questioning. We ran his name through R&I and found that he had several arrests in the state of California for violation of the State Narcotics Act. 12:16 a.m. We got the full story.
We were in business up north.
Reno?
Yeah, we made a lucky buy. Came down here to sell it. I gave him some connections where he could dump it.
Go ahead.
Been down here a couple of days. He sent a wire telling me the merchandise wasn't moving. I knew it was a lie. Right away I knew it. Good stuff like that, it had to be a market. And I got the word.
What do you mean?
Well, a friend of mine, he called, told me about Tom and this Marcia doll, how they were running around.
Yeah.
This guy told me Tom was going great with the H, said he dropped about $7,000 of it already. Sure, as soon as I heard that, I got on my horse, made it down here.
What happened?
Couldn't find out where he was staying, didn't have a trace.
What about the motel?
Well, I didn't know about that. As far as I knew, he was supposed to be here. That's the way we arranged it.
Yeah.
I sent out word I wanted to see him for him to get in touch right away. He did. Tried to give me the same line about how he couldn't sell. There wasn't a market for it. I told him we'd better call the whole deal off. Just give me the stuff back, we call the whole deal off.
Yeah.
Took some talk, and then we headed for his place.
That's the motel.
Yeah.
How'd you get there?
My car.
What happened then?
Oh, when I saw how much he had left, I told him he was lying. I called him a dirty thief, and we had a fight. I shot him.
All right, you willing to give us a statement?
Sure, why not?
I'll get the tonight.
His wife know yet?
I guess so.
That's too bad. I know her. She's a real nice kid. She's really in love with that Tom. Guess she took it pretty hard.
I wouldn't know.
Oh, knowing her, she would. Nice kid like that, and he's running around with another broad. Boy, he was a real bum. The way she loved him and doing a thing like that to her.
Why don't you take another look?
What?
What'd you do to her?
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On November 19th, trial was held in Department 99, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Wallace Hamilton Olney was tried and convicted of murder in the second degree and received sentence as prescribed by law. Murder in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 5 years to life in the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department. Technical advisors, Captain Jack Donahoe, Sergeant Marty Wynn, Sergeant Vance Frazier. Heard tonight were Ben Alexander, Dick Perrin, Helen Klebe, Lillian Byoff, Stacey Harris.
Script by John Robinson. Music by Walter Schumann. Hal Gibney speaking. Watch an entirely different Dragnet case history each week on your local NBC television station. Please check your newspapers for the day and time. Chesterfield has brought you Dragnet, transcribed from Los Angeles.